damn it. We've been rambling for 15 minutes here. Didn't realize that we weren't live. So, hey, everybody, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Heavy Metallurgy, number 128. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the delay. My internet connection wouldn't let us go live, but we're live now, apparently. So, Ben, hi, you're my co-host tonight, and Alan's on vacation with his family, so I hope Mel, Dean, and Alan are having a great time at Dollywood. This is almost verbatim what I said last time. It's great, Ben, to have you on. Cheers. Thank you for joining me tonight. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Cheers, all my water friends. Yeah, I'm doing good. Kind of kicking the channel back up in some activity after being really busy with work for a couple months. I'm doing the Doomtober series once again. I hope to do 4 videos of that this month. And then I picked up, I started doing a new podcast. I've kind of always wanted to do a podcast, but I guess in my mind, I had it that I was going to be like talking with other people about music, but I just kind of thought, why do that when I kind of do that on my YouTube channel? And so now my podcast is basically just picking 10 songs and talking about them a little bit. So it's kind of more like a playlist with some attitude in between a couple of them. So it's been really fun. I am liking it a lot more than I thought I was going to. And so I hope people pick up on that. It's just like listening to music with Brainsmasher.
It's called Smashcast.
Smashcast, yeah.
It's on Spotify and it's on all the platforms.
Working on getting it on Google, but it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So there's also a website. You can just Google Brainsmasher Smashcast and stream it from the website.
Awesome. Yep. Always good to have more Ben going around for sure. Yeah, and it's someone made a comment. Yeah, the way I'm positioned and the guy on the thumbnail, it looks like I'm the one sitting on the toilet. So not too far from the truth, or it's kind of real life right there. But anyway, we have an awesome guest tonight, a guy I've been wanting to get on for a while. His name is Bill. He is from Idaho, and he runs the channel, The Ninth Circle. Bill, welcome to Heavy Metallurgy. How are you today?
I'm good. Utah, actually. Sorry.
Utah. Sorry.
Yeah, Utah. No, you're good. You're good. I'm great. Glad to be here.
Well, it's good to have you. And when did you, let me see, Ninth Circle, it's not that old. I mean, even 6 months maybe into it?
January. So yeah, less than a year. So about 9 or 10 months. This is how long I've been around.
Well, you're kind of an old fart like us. And
oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All of us have kind of crossed into this idea of, I'm not going to do that. That's dumb. And then I could do that. And then all of a sudden the camera's on and you're talking. What was the inspiration for you to start doing YouTube videos?
I think a lot of it was I'd been kind of quietly watching YouTube videos, like VC videos for like a long time, probably for almost 10 years. I think the first one I ever saw was probably Sean Count Blageroth talking about.
Me too. He's one of the first ones. Yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the first ones that I think he was talking about. Like, it was like the Blake Crush thing. And originally I saw it. I was like, it's kind of weird. Originally I was like, but like just the idea of people on YouTube talking about music stuff. And then I just got hooked because I don't know. It was just, you get people's personalities really draw you in. And it's, even though you're not like directly having a conversation with them, you kind of are in the comments and things like that. And it's just kind of fun to, hear people's opinions and kind of it makes you kind of ruminate on your own opinions on things like I agree, I disagree, or whatever. It turns you on to new music, and so I just kind of continued to watch different people. And pretty soon there were other people, but at first it was like, oh, these people are super young. This is a young man's game. I'm way too old for that. Like, right. Nobody wants to see my decrepit old ass talking about, metal. And then I think probably like seeing like Pat from Ground Zero Salem, like his channel. And I was like, wow, this guy, his taste and my taste align a lot. And so like, I really kind of just started to watch him and like Mike Seatown and then you, Marty, and you, Ben. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's some midlife crisis thing when you're like, oh, I'm turning 50. Maybe I should just do this. I should put away my embarrassment and just go for it. And so that's what I did.
You know, it's one of those things where I was younger and more friends or new people would come over to the house. They'd see the collection for the first time. Wow. And, you know, the fun of them going through and looking at stuff, and, you know, get older, the less that happens. And
Yep.
it's just kind of cool to, if you have any sort of sizable collection, share it and all that you've learned over the years with other folks. And if no one listens, fine. But if they do listen, cool. You know, we've discovered a very awesome community of some very great people. So it's, and friends, you know, there's people I wouldn't have known or talked to if it wasn't for YouTube. So I'm very thankful for it. So hopefully you get to the point too, where that happens for you as well, when you get further down the journey. So the Ninth Circle, kind of a collection video thing, but you're also doing some other stuff. The link is in the description for anybody who would like to go subscribe. Please go subscribe to Bill's channel. What are your thoughts and interests with the channel?
So I've been, initially I started out doing some collection updates because I think it's an easy video to make, and I have a lot of records and and that sort of thing. But I've kind of been trying to come up with some more unique angles on things. Like I just started that Attack of the Clones series, which I did, the Hellhammer clones, and that's been the most popular video I've made. I myself didn't feel like that specific video was that great, but then I've got like nearly 600 views on it, which it far and away has blown every other video I've made out of the water, and I've got another one I'm getting ready to do for that. I've been doing lately, because there's been so many like celebrations of milestones in the VC. I've been doing a bunch. I did one for Metal Marty Mac. I did one for, of course, Mark G with a C. I just did one for Rick, from Dreadful Minutes, because I really, like I said, I think one of the main reasons I do the channel is because I like the connection with other people, and, and kind of like responding to them through these videos is just a lot of fun. It's just a good time.
Agreed. 100%. And also, like a lot of us, not only just are you a collector, you're also a musician.
Yes.
Let's talk about your musical projects.
All right. So currently, so I am in this band. I'm the vocalist for this band, Uncross. This is our demo that we recorded last year, demo 2022. 3 songs here. We are, I guess you would I describe it as crusty death sludge would be best, because we really kind of are a mix of stuff like dystopia, grief, some old Hellhammer obituary stuff, kind of just slow pounding evil stuff, so my vocals are kind of like back and forth between the higher screaming and lower guttural stuff which I've been doing more and more. We haven't played a show yet. Even the band actually has been around for 5 years. I've been in the band for a little over 2 years, but they still have yet to play a show. We've been kind of talking about doing that, so hopefully here soon. We're also looking to possibly, I think we're going to record an EP, another 4 to 5 songs here, probably in the next few months, maybe probably around January or something like that. So
I neglected to do so, but when the show's done, I will put the Bandcamp link in the description as well, so people can go. I'm sure it's on Bandcamp.
Yes, it is. Yep, Bandcamp. It's on YouTube. We've got physical CDs. You can get in touch with me if you want one, and I'd gladly send you one too. So
awesome. And Frosty, thank you so much. You did not have to do that. You're too kind. We really appreciate it, and appreciate all of you too for hanging out with us every week. It's a lot of fun. And yes, Uncross, I will definitely be checking that out. I've been meaning to. Got a lot of things to check out. Damn it, Mike, you did this Wednesday too. You didn't have to do that, man. Thanks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You guys rule. Thank you so much. Ben, did you have anything for our guest?
The Uncross stuff is great. I checked it out thanks to Rick hyping it in one of his videos. Bought it on Bandcamp and looking forward to checking it out. Been getting more into kind of crusty D-beat, kind of hardcore metal-ish kind of stuff. So it's right up my alley.
You need to check out the band Agnes C as well. They're really, really, really good cross band.
They are very good.
Agnes C. Yeah. Okay. Well, again, everybody go check out the Ninth Circle. Link in the description. Bill's gonna be a guy you're gonna be seeing around for sure. And He joined us tonight on a night where the topic is something that was suggested to me by a friend, Ken Klein. Ken, if you're watching, cheers, brother. He is the drummer for the bands Pan, which features our bass player from the Glorious Dead, Chris. He's in the band.
Hi, Chris.
Draughter. He is in the band, the new band Wood Cult. They don't have anything out yet, but they're going to be playing live. He dropped me a line one day. He's like, I got a good idea for a show. Bands that put out a fantastic album only to follow it up with a turd. And I thought that was a great idea. It's easy, should be fun. It's good discussion. And so, Ken, thanks for the discussion. I tried to bring him on for it, and he didn't seem too interested in that. So we're running with Ken's topic tonight. And I do want to say, thanks, Wade. You rule, sir. Thank you so much. I was talking to my wife about this before we went live. She always asks what the topic is. And she's like, it is very hard for a fan of a band that's like a diehard fan to admit that an album sucks. And she instantly went to her submission for this would be Duran Duran's The Wedding Album, followed up by the album Pop Trash. So one of their best albums ever up against a garbage record. And she says, you have no idea how disappointed I was and how disappointed and admit that the band I love can suck. So, I mean, what do you guys think about the whole, I mean, we all have, I mean, it was quite easy for me to pick. What do you guys think about this topic? We'll start with you, Bill.
Yeah, it is sometimes heartbreaking that bands you love to admit that, like, oh yeah, this album was kind of a failure, you know? I mean, and it may be, you know, over time you kind of make yourself like it, or you kind of appreciate some of the flaws, but you know, objectively you can be like, yeah, this is a piece of shit, you know? And there are albums that, I mean, there are some albums tonight that I'm going to talk about that I know people love that I think are shitty. And there are probably some albums that, you know, that I like that people are going to think are shitty. So, you know, but it's sometimes it's like sports teams sometimes with bands. You don't want to admit that they're having a bad time, you know, that they're failing at something.
Ben, what do you think?
It really hits home. Right when I got into metal around 95, 96, I was into Carcass and Sepultura and At the Gates, and all three of those bands broke up. Eventually wound up getting back together, but I was like, God, my heart is getting broken. What the fuck? It was like such a fairy tale thing to get into, and then have your world come crashing down like that. I was like, all right, well, I guess this is bound to happen, so I better keep looking into other bands. And so, like, eventually every band, I think, is gonna fail you at some point, right? Unless, like, they're smart enough, I think, to just, like, call it and never come back to it. Satan's almighty penis.
Yeah,
I think you gotta. It takes a smart and astute group of people to know when to call it and just leave it and just let that legacy be what it is and not come back and ruin it. I think a lot of these that I picked tonight are going to be bands where there's like a long stretch of time between the good album and the bad album, and that's probably, you know, got a lot to do with why. I had a hard time picking ones where it was just like throughout the discography there was a great one and then a bad one, but without a big gap of time in between them. I'm sure you guys did a better job of that.
Well, for me, I mean, let's face it. We all hope bands that we love are great forever, but that's a tall order for any band, any person, any creative type, especially, you know, you look at some of these bands that I picked tonight and, you know, I'm looking over legacy bands catalogs. I mean, to expect an artist that you enjoy to be perfect all the time, it's unreasonable. Nobody's perfect. And, you know, you got to walk that line between writing albums just as enthusiastic as the albums were when you were a teenager. And people don't like change sometimes. So if you change your sound to evolve, you're going to get crucified for that. Or if you don't change enough, you're going to get crucified for that. So, I mean, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing. And lost my train of thought. But yeah, it's one of those things that you just can't make everybody happy. And tonight I mean, I'm sure I'm going to show a couple records that are going to make people want to flip tables over, but these are our opinions. You want to do something like this, start your own channel and you can have your opinions too, or share them in the chat. We'll all have a nice conversation about it tonight, but
let's have a brawl.
yeah, there's a fight. Let's get started. I mean, I got a lot here and I'm sure there's going to be some crossover, but Bill, you're the guest. You're going to start this party off. Let's get going.
Right.
Do one at a time. We'll go around a circle.
Okay. Well, I was going to, being that it's Friday the 13th, I was going to start off with a special movie edition here. We're going to go with what I think was one of my favorite Friday the 13th franchise films, The Final Chapter, the one that, of course, has Corey Feldman. You also have Kristen Glover, amazing, quirky performance. Tom Savini comes back as well to do the makeup effects. It was supposed to be the actual final chapter for this. They kill off Jason at the end. You know, it's a great movie. It's a whole lot of fun. You know, you got a good dynamic. You got like kids partying next to this family. Corey Feldman's the one that, you know, his character, Tommy Jarvis, kills off Jason supposedly at the end. But then it's followed up by what is probably the worst in the franchise. You get part 5, A New Beginning. This is the second film to not have Jason in it, as not actually have Jason in it. This film, the director of this film was a porno director, actually. This was his first actual like movie, quote unquote movie. So it's super sleazy. You know, there's the memorable stuff like you'll remember there's the character Demon who those damn enchiladas, he has to run to the porta potty and shit his guts out. And gets murdered by Jason, and Jason doesn't end up being the killer. There's a loose connection to somebody, and it's just a bad movie. One of the worst of the franchise.
How many in total are there?
Film is far better. The 6th one, they kind of right the ship there, but bad movie.
What'd you say, Ben?
How many in total are there, do you think?
Oh, I think there are like 11 Friday the 13th films.
Right.
The 11th one being like a reboot, basically. The last one there's the one in space, Jason X.
Jason X.
The space one, which is ridiculous. I mean, it's funny. It's again, it's a piece of shit movie, but it's fun.
As long as these directors lean into the fact that they're writing making a shit movie and not trying to make like I'm going to get a Grammy for the Jason in space.
Yeah, some people just accept it, and I mean,
I think
Oscar
or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
movies.
Famously, like Paramount was super embarrassed by these films, but they kept making money, so it was like the redheaded stepchild to be like, oh yeah, we know they're trash and there's like all this, you know, violence and sex, but the cash keeps coming, so we're just gonna keep churning them out until the payday ends, you know.
All right, Ben, what's your first pull out of the pile?
Oh, where do I start? I'm going to pick one that I'm guessing maybe both of you have picked. Time Bomb, Demolition Hammer.
I did not pick that one.
I didn't pick it either, actually.
Oh,
you beat me.
What
there.
A piece of crap.
It's terrible.
Would never have bought it. Somebody sent this to me as a joke, but this is Demo Hammy, as I like to call him, getting kind of like funky bass, grungy kind of. There's just so many bands right at that turn, right around like 94, where they were trying to catch on to the, I don't know, Nirvana. I don't know. Grave was even kind of victim to stuff like this. Dismember even kind of did it. Although I kind of like Massive Killing Capacity.
I do too.
This is one of the worst examples of this kind of crap going on. Don't listen to it very often. Not very familiar with it. Any thoughts on it in the chat?
Yeah, I'm not a big. I have that on tape. I'm not a big fan.
No, I don't think I like it.
Yeah,
I found with a lot of these, they have like reviews on Metal Archives where they're like 60%, and I would be like, am I wrong about this one? But it would be like 5 reviews at 15%, and then one person would be like, I love this one, it's 90.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look how stoked this guy is about having recorded that album.
Alex looks like he'd certainly rather be like cleaning a toilet somewhere. Same with Derek. They're all just like so embarrassed. So embarrassed.
Yeah,
King Snake Jake, thank you for your contribution and welcome. Good to have you on. Thank you so much. You're too kind. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, thanks. Not a whole lot to say about it. I haven't listened to much of it, but like when I pulled this out, I was like, I didn't know this existed. I bet this is horrible.
Alrighty then.
Coming after epidemic violence, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, absolutely brutal. Okay, oops. What did I do? There we go. Well, for me, when this topic came up, this is the first pairing that came to mind. Couldn't run to the rack fast enough to pull these off, but we got this record. Warfest False. One of the best albums in their collection. Although I do really love Rise to Ruin, their final album is very much like this as well. The sky seemed to be the limit. Yep. The sky was the limit. Yep. And then this horrendous, stinking turd of an album came out. You want to talk about, I mean, this album is full of intensity. You got Wormsby. What's his name? Wormsby. I can't remember. Ed Wormsby.
Yeah, I think it's Ed Wormsby or Ed Wormsby. Yeah.
Amazing drummer. Great drummer. Jan's vocals are coherent. You can tell what he's saying, but he's got a brutal edge to him. The riffing on here is great songwriting. It's not super complicated. It's just well done old school death metal. They took everything that was good about the album before it, stripped it away in favor of groovy yo boy type of riffs, chugga chugga type stuff. Jan's vocals, he lost the intensity and just kind of went for a shouting style. And man, God, the lyrics are so stupid. The videos were stupid. Everything about this is stupid. And it again, it was a band that should have been moving up into the stratosphere, the next level of ascension. And here they completely pulled the rug out from under themselves. Erase, follow me to where the real fun is type of lyrics. I mean, it's so stupid. This album is so bad. I've given this away probably 5 times in my life, and now I have 2 copies of it in my house right now because friends think it's funny to find it and send it to me. You sent me this one, and my buddy Deathlance here a couple months ago, I opened it up. It was this and another CD, and on the back it says "Remember Me" with a sticker, post-it note. I'm like, God damn it! I got 2 copies of this now. It's like tribbles. I get rid of them, and 4 more pop up. So I'm just gonna keep the 2 I have and hope that they don't replicate. But man, this is
Survivor 2.
I have that too. I've got, the collector scum. That's another thing. If you're collector scum and you try to collect a whole discography, holding on to these crappy records, it's so stupid. I mean, why do we do it? We all do it though. So I know Ben might not. He's probably the smart one of the bunch. I don't know, maybe not. But but anyway, that's my first submission. Bill, you're up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll second that. This is a 2-on-1 where it's False and Erase. I'll just quickly Erase. What an appropriate name for that album, because I wish I could erase it from their discography.
Oh guys. Oh, see, and there's always somebody that likes it. And again, if you like it, awesome. Great. We all hear the same piece of music differently, but Anyway, yeah. So I'll get on to the great album here. We'll go with, I've got Angel Corpse, The Inexorable. Like they're probably their best album, I think, And Angel Corpse, it's basically like taking Morbid Angel and making it more vicious, more violent. You've got Pete Helmkamp, who was in Order from Chaos, whom I love, and this album just has such a intensity to it. It just wants to destroy the universe. It feels like it wants to rip your throat out, devour your entrails, consume your soul, and wipe everything out of existence, So, they break up after that. And then, of course, they do Of Lucifer and Lightning. And is it a terrible record? Not necessarily, but in the context of The Inexorable, it's boring as shit. Like, this album feels limp. It feels unmemorable. I can't really ever remember any of the riffs on it or anything. It just seems bland. And to come back after The Inexorable and put out
that record to put out of Lucifer and Lightning. I've owned it, and I tried to like it, and it was one of those where I would be like doing a purge. I don't know. I do really love Angel Corpse, even though I think this album's boring. Should I keep it? Should I get rid of it? Finally, I just was like, no, it's got to go, because I'm never going to listen to it. Whenever I go to reach for Angel Corpse, I'm going to reach for anything other than of Lucifer and Lightning. So it's just a letdown, and compared to the rest of their discography, that makes it a turd to me.
And I have not listened to it since it came out, but I do remember it. The production, a couple people are commenting on the production being really clean and it kind of neutered that record a little bit.
Yeah. I think that is the huge problem. It's too clinical, far too crisp, not suitable for them at all.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good, somebody did like a remaster of it on YouTube that sounds pretty decent, which kind of brought it back from its abysmal nature. And I saw them on that tour because I was so bummed that I didn't get to see them before that. Big fan, one of my probably top 10 bands.
Great.
They're incredible.
I was hanging out with Gene Palabiki after, and he said that he had another album written out. And of course they broke up right after that as well. But I guess the next Angel Corpse album that was supposed to follow that one wound up being the first Perdition Temple album, which is pretty good.
It is, yeah.
So I thought I was like, what really happened here? And they toured with some kid drummer. They opened up for like Watain, I believe. And this kid fucked up their first song like 3 times in a row. And they both looked back at him. They're like, are we fucking ready yet? It was embarrassing after that, having that album like not be good.
Yeah. Pretty sad.
All right, Ben, what is your next duo?
I guess I should have picked the good albums and then the bad ones. Shouldn't I have? Because in most cases I have the good ones, but not the bad ones.
It's good to talk about the good ones too.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
may have like I just ran right to the finish line with these. So y'all know Norway's Covenant. They have Light.
Well,
And
that
then
can
we
shit
have,
the bed real quick. Anyway,
I don't really like Nexus Polaris.
neither.
I know a lot of people do. It's
The first album rules.
Yeah.
But like that's not. I don't know. This one I think some people could disagree with, but I think we can all get on board with this one. Like honestly, I couldn't speak to it. I don't really remember what it sounds like, and it's probably good. Animatronic, yeah. I believe you sent me this, and maybe even the one after it, SETI.
I did.
I think so.
That would make sense because
I'm
that
sorry
stuff
if you
sucks.
still have it.
Yep.
I probably should have popped this in out of curiosity. I'm like morbidly curious about it now.
Which really sucks because I do like electronic music. I'm not opposed to electronic music. It's just, I mean, they did kind of, kind of change their name a little bit. The change to the Covenant with a K. So I mean, they did indicate that hey, things are changing over at Norwegian headquarters.
They re-recorded In the Times Before the Light album too.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I guess I wish I would have put this on just to really speak to it. Anybody have an opinion on this?
It's worthy of the turd pile for sure.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not good.
You've said me and Marty have sent each other pretty massive piles of crap over the years.
Oh yeah, it's a tradition.
Yeah.
Part of the fun.
Here, Ben, here's some VCLT. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, you bastard.
Well, you'll send me like 20 good albums and then 5 like, well, maybe it'll work on Ben.
Ben likes some crap.
Maybe this will be to his liking.
Sometimes it does. I have bad taste.
All right. Let's keep it old school death metal for a minute. We're going to start off with this gem. Granted, this is when Grave was starting to embrace the groovy side of the groove that was infecting the Swedish death metal style, which Entomb perpetrated. But this record, I love their first 3. This record is so catchy. It's so heavy. The production's a little thin, but I love this record. I love it. I could sit down with my guitar and play just about every riff on this. It's easy, but it's so catchy. Every song's an earworm. And then they went down the road with this thing, Hating Life. they took the good things on here and obvious step into the groovy side and went even more groovy and less catchy on here. This is the vocals. They're less death metal and just kind of a yelling style. I think, what the hell was his name? The guy that sang on this. Yeah.
Jorgen, yeah. Sandstrom.
Sandstrom. I knew it was an S.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I don't know if he's on this one or not.
I don't think he is on Hating Life. I think he quit after Soulless. I think they're just a two-piece. Yeah.
Yep, the drummer and the main guy, I can't remember his name either. But when they reformed later on, the comeback records were pretty decent, and it was with him singing. He must have got the memo that this sucked, because it really did suck. And usually an indicator is when you've got the original logo, and then the next album they're like, oh, let's just use some cool computerized font. That's usually an indication that shit is going sideways. But yeah, this record sucks. It just sucks. In fact, I listened to it today while I was showering, because it's been since this came out. I better refamiliarize just to make sure before I put my foot in my mouth. But no, it sucks. It's not good. So great.
I actually like that album. It's one of the first death metal albums. It's my first Grave album, so it's got a little rotten piece of my heart.
Right.
I'm not gonna say it's good though.
Well, that's where you jump in. I get it. I mean, we usually are all fascinated by the first experience with a band. But Bill, you're next.
Well, on that same note, I'm going to go with something else that's kind of similar in that vein here. Not that this is the world's greatest record by any means, but compared to their next record, it's fucking a masterpiece. So Massacre here, From Beyond, a solid Florida death metal record, right? I mean,
I would say that's a turd too, but that's my opinion.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, I have a pretty high tolerance for boring ass death metal. I'll admit it. Like, I like a lot of very generic death metal, right?
You could put Cancer in that camp too. I'm not a big Cancer fan either.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and I'm fine with the first two Cancer records as well. But so this just kind of by the numbers death metal. But I mean, you got guys who they were in Mantis and they were in Death at early stages. You got Rick Ross, you got Cam Lee, right? Solid. But then they follow it up, of course, with Promise. If you've ever heard Promise, let me show you the album cover here. I don't own it. I want to own it in a way because it's so fucking bad that it's kind of almost goes around for being so bad that it's good.
It's the only Massacre I have.
Yeah, it's not really good. That's not the one. It's always hard. I got to cue it up here. Kind of just going with it. Yes, there we go. So Promise, here's the album cover. And like you said, the same thing. It's like a heartbreak record. They cover Concrete Blonde on this album. They cover the song Bloodletting. I love Concrete Blonde, but hearing this band cover Concrete Blonde is embarrassing. It's very kind of like that Demolition Hammer record. It almost sounds like Propane or some of those really dumb kind of groove hardcore bands of the mid 90s, Pissing Razors, that kind of stuff. And all the lyrics, terrible bands and terrible connotation. All the lyrics are about how this woman broke Cam Lee's heart. The first song is called Nothing, and here's some of the lyrics. I'll read you a lyric snippet. What is it you want from me? I've nothing to give. You've taken everything. You didn't leave me shit. Not even worth the not even worth the thought. Not worth the pain. Not worth speaking of. I thought that once I met something, but now I see I'm nothing. Nothing.
From Beyond. I mean,
it's so embarrassing. You're just oh my God, what? How did anybody think this was a good idea? But it got released. I mean, it's like the dark secret. I think that everybody in the band kind of tries to blame somebody else. It was his idea, but somebody had to sign off on it. Yeah, awful. Awful fucking record.
Yeah, it's like a gothic teen writing in their journal.
Yeah, except he's probably a 35-year-old man.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just like, oh, I'm so
You
embarrassed
didn't leave
for
me
you.
shit. Yeah.
You left me nothing. You know, it's like I'm gonna leave you nothing when I throw this in the fucking trash. Like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
All right. Right, Alan. Hey, Alan, what's up, man? How's Dolly? She asked about me. Anyway, Ben,
Hey, Alan.
Hope you're having a wholesome weekend getaway, Alan.
hope you're having a good time, man.
Good
I
job.
wonder if anybody, I'm not sure if you guys would have picked this one or not, but here's a band that has done this twice.
Oh, if this is the one I'm thinking.
So, Beharit?
No.
I
No?
didn't pick it, but
All right. Well, Drawing Down the Moon, pretty fucking good. And then they followed it up with this guy.
Yeah, that's a tough sell right there.
Takes a
That's
lot
tough.
of weed to get into this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then they came back around with Engram, which
it's good.
on some days I like more. Than
There's
Drawing
another
Down the
album
Moon.
that came after that one that is not good either.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Doom Synthesis or something.
Yeah,
I
Electric
think
Doom
it's called.
Synthesis. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have both of those as well. But so then after Engram, they did another one in 2020.
Ingram is probably their best record.
It is.
On
It's
most
great.
days I would agree, but for some reason I just go back to Drawing Down the Moon most often. But they did another one in 2020 called Bardo Exist, and they did it again. It's directionless, uninteresting, noisy, spacey garbage. So I tried really hard to think, are there any other bands who did this twice? Because like once you go shit, like nobody ever comes back from that. Like 90% of the time.
I'm starting to think the only reason why Engram was so good, that weren't the guys from Kraft involved in that?
Might be onto something.
Might be. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
I'm on the archives right now.
I could be wrong. I could be
Thy Serpent.
Yeah, okay. Which I like some of that stuff. Some of that stuff's good.
Doesn't look like Kraft's from Sweden. I think that would be.
Yep, you're right. Okay, I got crossed somewhere. I thought I heard the Kraft dudes help with that. I could be wrong. I am wrong apparently. Well, yeah, good pick. I looked at that actually, and
really?
I had enough stuff. So good one.
I'm gonna hit the bathroom.
All right. Okay, I got a twofer here. A twofer, and people aren't going to agree with this, but I don't much care. Let's talk about how great this record is. Olber's Bergtop. Man, you want to talk about the pinnacle of Norwegian black metal. This is kind of it. You got the woodsy atmosphere. You've got the just the choices of melody on here, and Garm switching between melodious singing and his feral black metal shrieks are just unmatched on here. Absolutely great record. Love this thing so much. And then they put out Kveldsanger, which I know a lot of people love this too. And there's some stuff on here that's good. But you can tell one of the guys got called away from military service, and it left them kind of just doing classical treatments, vocal treatments, acoustic, classical stuff. It sounds like intros that should have been on a proper Ulver record. So, yep, this is a turd record for me. I don't like it. I never listened to it. I've listened to it enough to know it. I just don't care. Then they come back with this, which when this came out was rather jarring. Nathan's Madrigal. 8 hymns to the wolf in man. This thing is devoid of production value, but some of the best black metal riffing you'll hear from Norway. Just absolutely savage. Garm's vocals, amazing. So yep, they corrected they righted the ship. They got things going back in the proper direction. They dedicated this album to Dark Throne. All is good in the world. And then they put out the follow-up to this, which is William Blake's The Marriage of Heaven and Hell in 2 parts or something. It's a 2 CD set. I had an original copy of it. I gave it to Devin from his channel. So they took everything that was great about this record and threw it in the garbage again, and made a medalist, fancy pants, Norwegian sweater, hairless cat, red wine, smoking a pipe type stuff. And if you like that stuff, more power to you. I roll my eyes when I hear it, and it runs rampant through Norway, and Oliver kind of stayed with that thing forever, which is fine. But so, yep, they did it twice. From here to here, they dropped the ball. From here to William Blake.
Oh, you don't like Feldsanger?
I think Feldsanger is it's a treatment of acoustic instruments. It's not a proper album. I think it's kind of pointless. But yeah, Oliver, that was a twofer.
Two twofers. All right.
Two twofers.
The twofers.
Ugh.
All right, let's go. We'll go with vinyl here. We'll go with, I mean, again, the classics here. This is not something that will probably surprise anybody for a great record. So you got Black Sabbath, Sabotage.
That's my favorite Ozzy record.
Yeah,
that record rules.
This is arguably one of the best Ozzy Sabbath records. So, I mean, I you know, all those volume, I really like Volume 4. I like Master of Reality a lot. I really like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. You know, I mean, this is kind of the pinnacle of them at being creative with Ozzy. You know, there's a lot of progressive and interesting songwriting going on, like Super Czar is the Writ, all that stuff. Incredible. You got, of course, you know, and then kind of some more classic Sabbath songs like Hole in the Sky and Symptom of the Universe. I mean, everybody's outfit's amazing, of course, in this, you know, how can you go wrong there? So you go from that to, of course, and I have this because I've got it cheap, but it's still like you got Black Sabbath, Technical Ecstasy, of course. And this
I'm with Melanie here. I don't hate Technical Ecstasy. I should hate it, but I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I've come around to it a little bit. About half the songs are decent in my opinion, but the fact that they have where they sound like the Beatles. I mean, when It's All Right, when Black Sabbath is doing a Beatles song, something's wrong in my opinion. You know, I don't know. It's weird. It's just such a weird record. You can tell that a lot of the other members besides Tony are checking out. I mean, I think Ozzy's just a coked out mess. I think Bill's a coked out mess.
They all were. It wasn't just Ozzy.
Yeah, I guess they're all a coked out mess, but some of them are worse off than others. You know, I like Backstreet Kids. I like You Won't Change Me. Those songs are actually pretty good, but I don't know, Rock and Roll Doctor.
that song kind of sucks.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Doctor's bad. Gypsy's kind of a pretty bad song too.
I kind of like that song.
Yeah, that one doesn't do it for me. Dirty Women, I'm fine with.
I like that song.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, the artwork. I've started to not hate this record, but I hated it for a really, really long time, and it definitely marks a serious drop off. I mean, obviously, Never Say Die barely sounds like Sabbath either. I'm not saying
I like that record. I actually like that record a lot.
I own that record too, and I'm not saying it's a terrible record, but you can kind of feel like the best days of the Ozzy era are kind of wrapping up, and you know, Dio coming in really saves that band for me, you know, like really revitalizes it. And I like Born Again too. I actually like, I know a lot of people think Born Again sucks shit, but
no, I like it.
I like Ian Gillan's vocals.
It's weird. It's a weird album.
It's a weird album, and the production's kind of terrible, but I mean, the songs themselves are actually pretty amazing in some ways. So
hey, thanks, Mr. McLennan. Appreciate it. You rule. Thank you so much.
But yeah, I don't know if there are any other people that love Technical Ecstasy. Yeah, I see. Yeah, Ian, that's fine. Everybody, like I said, I've come around to not hating it as much, but it's still my least out of all the Ozzy records. It's the worst in my opinion. It's the worst.
All right, good pick, Ben.
I see that in used bins every once in a while. I just think, like, should I maybe give this a go?
You won't like it.
I don't think you're gonna like it. I don't think you're gonna like it. Yeah.
I don't dislike really any Ozzy Sabbath that I know of. I just don't.
Well, you might like it then. I mean, it's got some. It's weird. It's an experimental record.
Yeah, there's left field. There's some left field tunes on there for sure. You know.
Headless
So,
Cross has wound up being my favorite Sabbath.
It's great. It's a good record.
Yeah.
So here I finally ponied up and brought the good album, and then we'll show the bad album. But I think for some people this may be like one step too far ahead. Like my buddy Wayne loves the first two Carcasses, but says that Necroticism, no, that's where they went bad.
What?
Some people say Necroticism was where they went bad.
No.
And I think we can all agree that Swan Song is definitely really went to shit.
Yeah.
But I love Chaos AD still to this day.
Yep.
God, what a formative album for me. I probably nobody unfamiliar with that one, but they followed it up.
The writing was on. I would say Chaos AD. The writing was on the wall where they were going.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
They came off of two monster fucking records, amazing, and then Chaos AD was good. It was good, but it wasn't as good. Anyway,
that formula could not have gone any better than Chaos AD did, and they should have. I don't know what you do after that. Maybe called it a day for good, because it didn't one of his kids die right after this one came out or something?
I think maybe like stepson. I think it was his.
Yeah, Gloria's one of Gloria's kids.
Yeah, one of Gloria's kids died. It was his
sounds
stepson.
right.
I think that's what that whole Soulfly thing is all about. I think. Reference to that child's death. Yeah.
So his one of his sons' other band opened the other night. They're called Insight. Not for me. No.
Nepo baby for sure. Nepo baby.
So yeah, this was my entry point for the band. Yeah. And I really
that album sucks so bad. Oh my god.
It's got all the jump to fuck up riffs. It's all
it's a Korn record. It's a Korn record.
Yeah. The percussion on it, I will say, is pretty cool and interesting, but everything else about it I fucking hate. Like I hate.
Given the formula that they went with, they did, I guess, as best as you could with that kind of a shit idea. And like I liked Korn for about a week. I had Life is Peachy for a minute, and then I found this, and then I found Chaos AD and Fear Factory, and I forgot Korn ever existed. Never ever went back. And then once I found Chaos AD, I never went back to this one either. I think it would be fun to probably put this on. I should like throw it on some of my grilling out playlists and go, what the fuck? Oh yeah, you did this to yourself, man.
All right.
Piece of crap.
Good pick.
Yeah, I almost picked that one, but I knew somebody would pick it. I knew somebody would.
All right, made some people. Well, you mentioned this. I'm going to go with this here. Well, I would say I can't call this a bad record because this is a good record. But for me, my first reaction was to grab Necroticism because that is a truly fantastic record, and this record is a fantastic record, but it shouldn't be by a band named Carcass. I'm sorry. I still like this record, but the obvious choice is this. You go from really slick, somewhat slightly commercialized progression of Carcass into this rotten roll type stuff. I know, like Alan loves this record.
I like it too. I wouldn't say I love it. I'd still say it's the weakest Carcass record, but I still like it. Like it's just like a heavy metal record to me, mostly. Like it's very straight up heavy metal.
Well, when I got this, I was a sad boy, and the fact of it is, they swung hard from this because after Carcass broke up, they did that Black Star project, which sounds like Swan Song Part 2. So it was a style that they liked and they wanted to continue in, and obviously realized after being chastised severely, it was not really Carcass anymore. But people like this. I hate this. I just don't like it. So, yep. I mean, this is the obvious choice, although I would say this is where the cracks started to form, even though I still like this record. Don't get me wrong, everybody. But Necroticism swirls devil turds all over this all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Heartwork's not really a death metal record either. It's very more.
It's more of a mellow death, Swedish mellow death record.
Yeah. Very
much
leaning into heavy metal, which is fine.
It's cool. I mean, it's great. It's a really sophisticated, great record. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
man, I want gristled chunks of gut falling into a blood bucket.
Yeah.
When I listen to Carcass.
Yeah. It's not rotting guts fuck,
Yeah.
apocalypse like old Carcass. It's not.
Yep. All right, Bill, you're back.
Okay. We'll do some more vinyl here. So fantastic record from this band. So we got Celtic Frost.
Yep, I got that pick too.
Their first full length, technically, according, Morbid Tales, I guess, is considered an EP, but I mean, you've got Circle of the Tyrants, Necromantical Screams, of course, The Usurper, Dawn of Megiddo, all those great songs, incredible. And then everybody's like, oh, Cold Lake? No, I don't hate Cold Lake as much as I actually hate Into the Pandemonium. So, and I know that's probably a hot take. Like, what? You hate Into the Pandemonium more?
I'm not a fan of Pandemonium.
I almost think it's because it's like they're dipping their toe into the realm of suck, and it's like I don't know, like Tom Warrior really thinking he's more of an artist and thinking, when you open your album with a cover of Mexican radio, something is fucking wrong, like what's going on? What's going on there? I don't know. Also, I Won't Dance, that song. Ugh, God.
One in Their Pride.
Yeah, In Their Pride, another one. One in Their Pride. Jesus Christ. Like I used
Baby's First Drum Machine. Boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
We're artists. Boom, boom,
yeah.
boom.
And it's like, I get it. I like Bauhaus too. And it's like, I swear, like Tom Warrior heard Bauhaus and wanted to be like, well, I want to do something like that, but I don't want to completely commit to it yet. So yeah, I don't own it anymore. I looked around. I was like, I thought I owned it on some format. No, I don't. And I think that's not an accident. It's because I think when I'm out in the wild and I see it, I might think for a minute, oh, I should have that because, I have the other records. And then there's something that clicks that's like, no, it's fucking stupid. You don't need this. Like, this is the beginning. This is Celtic Frost this is Tom Warrior showing his true colors and like wanting to be a rock star and wanting to be taken seriously as an artist. And, like I said, honestly, I like Cold Lake better than that. I mean, I think I like Vanity Nemesis. Monotheist is amazing, but Into the Pandemonium and Into the Pandemonium and Prototype for me are like fucking dog shit. Like, burn them, strike them from the record. No one should be forced to listen to them.
And I think in the Pandemonium, the years haven't been kind to that record, especially with Monotheist. They finally got a true piece of art. That is an art piece from start to finish.
Yeah. It's
Celtic Frost. It adds all sorts of avant-garde moments. They shared vocal duties on it to break up the flow. Into the Pandemonium's got a lot of dumb ideas, and it's got Inner Sanctum, which is a good song. There's a couple. I even like Mesmerized. It's weird. That's kind of like that's like a cool mix. I don't like Tom's vocals particularly, but I think the music itself is interesting. They actually kind of hinted at we can do some cool shit. But there's just a lot of bad ideas that just don't hold up over the years. And Monotheist put the nail in the coffin of that band. That they ended with their art piece, and I'm glad. I'm very glad for them.
There was nowhere else to go after Monotheist. Like, I mean, Triptychon's fine and all, but they were never going to touch it, Monotheist, or even come close to it ever again.
Agreed. Yeah, that Prototype thing was terrible.
Triptychon very often. I haven't really listened to it much at all.
I haven't listened to it lately. No,
I haven't listened to it in quite a while either. I think I still would rather listen to Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, or I'd listen to Monotheist or any of that stuff rather than Triptychon. It's fine, but it's not top of my list by any means.
Good pick. I had that in my stack as well. Ben.
Huh. I watched Webwin's End of open or cover Mesmerized back in April. It was cool.
Probably was very fitting, actually.
Yeah, that I could see makes sense.
Made a lot of sense, yeah. Well, we kind of had a request for it in the chat, so should we get it out of the way?
Go for it.
Well, we all know this banger.
Oh, yep, I got it.
Man, there really isn't much of a better record out there. That album is kind of perfect. The sound,
you may not know,
everything.
Yeah, I was like, yep, there.
What you may not know is they followed it up with
We're all in agreement. Oh, yeah.
Demonetized.
Yeah. But,
yeah, it's not good. It's very clearly not good.
I remember the hype behind it. I remember
So
when
do
he
I.
first got out of prison. He was like, I'm going to get Faust from Emperor, is going to be the drummer on this. And I was so hyped. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And then I hear it, and it's like the drums, obviously Faust isn't on it, but the drums are like the same on every track. It's just like a kind of like a straight up 4/4 rock beat on every single song. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Like he didn't even it's like the riffs are fine, I guess, but it's like that's all he's got and they're like tossed off In Flames riffs. They're like third tier In Flames riffs, basically,
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, this is so disappointing. No wonder why he killed himself. I swear to God, it was because of
The thing of it is, I will say in defense, where do you go after this record?
Yeah, I
mean, you can only write something that is a lateral step, or because something that could be like what Obituary did after Cause of Death. They did the end complete. It's basically Cause of Death Part 2.
Yep.
I mean, he could have tried to do that with this, but instead he decided to modernize it a little bit and dumb it down. I mean, the instrumental on here and Starless Eon, I think, are decent songs. Yeah. The rest of this album is just, it's new metal-y to me. It's got a yo-yo boy kind of thing going on.
It's to me it's like very rock, like very straight up rock influence. Like It's very simple, verse, chorus, verse, really, like I said, really basic drums, and it kind of lives and dies just on the riffs, and they're not good enough riffs to really sell the songs at all.
Yeah.
In my teenage brain, I thought that guy is probably just cooking up the best music you're ever going to hear. It's going to be so fucking amazing.
Nope,
not at all.
And some people love this record. I mean, we have a close friend of ours that loves this record, and fine. Not for me. It's not for me.
What artist
Prison changes a man? That's right, Jack. Prison changes a man. Apparently, it makes him want to write C-grade In Flames albums. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Ben?
What artist has Prison served well? Can't think of any.
I would say Burzum. I thought the two albums he put out directly after Prison sounded like Burzum.
Yeah, Fallen.
I mean, it's almost like he hit pause on his career, and then when he got out, he hit pause again. And is it as impactful as the first couple? No, but it sounds like Burzum still.
Yeah. Those records are good. I would say
even the remake he did that From the Depths of Darkness, the remake album. He did a great job on it. It sounds like Burzum doing Burzum. But then he went, whatever. He's a kooky, crazy.
Yeah, he's too busy doing kung fu in the woods and and like, I don't know, having a whole bunch of kids with his French wife. I don't know. That's fine. Whatever. Great.
That's cool. Whatever. Anyway, okay. I'm next. This might make some people mad, but that's fine. In fact, this record was kind of a slip for me as well, but I end up loving it. Turn Loose the Swans by My Dying Bride. The clean vocals were kind of a writing on the wall of what was coming. It bummed me out because Aaron's death vocals are just grim. I've always loved them. The first EP, and As the Flower Withers full length, is crushing death doom. Love it. There's a reason why they're part of the Peaceville 3. Absolutely great. So his whiny vocals on this were a bit for me to take, but I end up liking it. There's good writing on this album. It's a strong album. It really grew on me. Then this turd, I paid $25 for the import of this when it came out. And man, there wasn't a hint of death vocals on this. It was just warbling and whining and woe is me, lame goth lyrics. The music is decent. And I get it in hindsight. He's trying to match the mood of the music on here. I mean, the Cry of Mankind is a 12-minute long epic. A lot of piano on that. God, he's just his clean vocals are so whiny. He got better with them over the years, and he finally returned to the death growls as well on couple of the albums, Line of Deathless Kings, and now he's doing them again. So I mean, they've put out some great records since, but this record always sticks in my craw. And we did a deep dive on here, and having to revisit this record has not improved for me at all. So, yep, I would call this a turd. I know a lot of people I'm sorry, not everybody agrees with me here. I get it. Sorry, my opinion. But
so do you like Odds of the Sun any better than that one?
it's okay. It's okay. It's better than this one. Yeah.
Huh. I really like them both. Like Odds of the Sun was my first My Dying Bride album. But yeah, I really love it. I almost picked 34.788% complete.
That's a crap record too.
Oh my god.
Even Radical Research made a good case for that, and I wound up kind of turning around on that album, but it's not like I've listened to it more than once.
Jeff sometimes likes things that aren't good. I love the guy, but he just sometimes he likes stuff that sucks, and that's fine. We all do. So
yeah,
and I respect their opinion so much.
Oh, me too. 100%.
No matter what they say is good, I will consider it and try.
We've had lots of wonderful debates in person and on the phone. It's he's a great dude, super, and I completely respect his opinion. I will always go into listening to something with a more of a trained ear, knowing that he likes it, but I also kind of know his style, and I also know that it doesn't always mesh with mine. So
yeah.
Anyway, Bill's back.
All right.
And cheers to the 87 people watching us right now. Hope you're having a good week, and it's good to be hanging with you guys and ladies all tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Go check out the Ninth Circle. Go subscribe to his channel, please. Link in the description.
Mandatory for viewing tonight. If
you'll see more,
you must subscribe.
You'll see more of the Blanky in other videos. Anyway,
that's right. I love this blankie. Keeps me warm. I mean, hey, the Ninth Circle's cold, man. It's a frozen house. So you gotta stay warm. You gotta. I love the blankie. So anyway, so here's a band that by and large I mostly hate. There's only 3 albums by them I like, and this is probably one of the ones that's the best, and most people would agree. So you got Megadeth here. You've got Rust in Peace.
Yep.
Probably, this was their Injustice for All or Master of Puppets, and I would say it's better than Injustice for All.
That album alone shits on everything Metallica ever did.
Yeah.
It's just that good.
Yeah, it's just that good. I mean, the fucking song Tornado of Souls, holy shit, the trade-off in solos between Mustaine and
Friedman.
And Friedman are fucking incredible. I mean, of course, Hangar 18, Five Magics, Dawn Patrol, Rust in Peace, Polaris. Yeah, great songs, super cool artwork. No complaints there. But of course, they followed up with their version of the Black Album, and I hate it just as much as I hate the Black Album, of course. Countdown to Extinction, which everybody knows the song Sweating Bullets. Hello, me, the real me, know. Oh my God, that song.
I did a cover of that song.
Yeah, I mean, the drumming on that song is really cool, but I mean, Mustaine, when it comes to vocals, that's always been the biggest weak spot for me for Megadeth is he's not a good vocalist. He's pretty fucking terrible, actually. And on this album, I think his vocals get featured a lot more in the mix because they've stripped down. They're a little more straight ahead rock leaning, so his vocals kind of are more at the forefront, and that really kills this record for me. I mean, it's just downhill even more as they go on. They do Euthanasia, like Risk, and so many bad records. So years ago, I think it was like in 2010, I saw the tour where it was Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax. And we were supposedly, one of my friends had a hookup. We were supposedly going to get to be in the signing session for Slayer, for free. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, get a poster signed by Slayer. Well, that didn't work out. And they were like, oh, actually, we're going to be in the Megadeth signing session. And we're going to and I was like, oh, fuck, really? And so I go in there and, Dave and I can't remember who else was in the band at that point are signing posters. And I'm just like, I almost wanted to say something snarky to him. Like I wanted to be like, hey, it's really cool how you got Dissection and Rot and Christ kicked off that tour in Europe because you were afraid of their so-called Satanism. I don't know, but I wimped out. I didn't say anything, but I got the poster signed, and like I ended up throwing it in a closet. And when we moved a few years ago, I was like, should I try to sell this? I threw it in the fucking garbage. I was like, I don't I was like, I don't even want to try to get $1 for it because I don't know. I only like 3 Megadeth records. I like Killing Is My Business and Peace Sells and Rust in Peace. And other than that, fuck off. I mean, he's a very good guitarist, no denying it. But there's so many things that just bug me about Mustaine and his singing and his fucking personality. He just won't shut up about the Metallica thing. God, get over it. It was 40 years ago. Shut up. Yeah. No one cares. Anyway, end rant on Megadeth.
Such an overrated band.
Yeah, I have strong feelings about Megadeth.
Ben.
What? All right. I think I'm on a streak of picking ones that you guys hadn't picked, so I bet I'm gonna nail another one here. Love.
Yeah.
Nice.
That album's so good.
Yeah, I got this one too.
Yep. Dark finish riff, excellent.
Yep.
Followed it up. I don't have a copy of Shadow Mechanics.
I'll show you. I bought it. I'm a fucking maniac. This is the Spartan reissue from a few years ago.
So you knew better.
I knew better. I know. I don't know why. I bought it because I fucking I have that other one too. That one's not as bad as Shadow Mechanics, but it's not. Yeah. It's nothing like this. I mean, I think it's because I love this album so goddamn much that I was like, maybe this doesn't suck as much. Maybe it's not terrible. It's terrible. I can admit it's a fucking bad album. You know, I don't know. Again, it's like what Alan says, being a sick monkey, and you're just like, maybe time has been kind to this record. You know, maybe they're reissuing it because, you know, it's not as terrible as I remember. No, it's terrible.
I couldn't believe how horrible this one. I bought this one, and the name is going to escape me, but Seance's comeback album.
Oh yeah, Awakening of the Gods.
Awakening of the Gods.
Yeah. That album rules. I like that album.
Yeah, amazing. And I thought, well, I'm on a streak here. This has got to be great. I'll put in the Demigod album, and like here was why I thought this was probably going to be good. Extreme Music doesn't put out bad stuff, right?
Yeah. He's got good taste in death metal usually. Yeah.
Mick Nutwack, another band, Disgrace. That's the band Disgrace really lost it too after.
Yeah. I was gonna throw out. I didn't grab it, but like Zizma as well. Zizma turned into stoner rock shit, and you're like, ooh.
I thought that might be a little too obvious, or like the Pyogenesis.
Oh yeah, they really lost it too.
Yeah.
Good pick. Let's see, where am I going next? Oh, this is a good one. I've got some good ones here. All right, let's talk about this German band. Hands down their best album, Longing for Death. This was called something else in Germany. I cannot remember. Something with a T.
Something like Totenzucht or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But this album is their best. Hallucinations was good. It was a little too techy for me. Here they smoothed out a little bit. Just went with there's some tech on here, but there's just really good, well-written, memorable death metal riffs. Alex Kroll's vocals are great. So in nothing but pure excitement, when this dropped, Atrocities Blut, I picked it up without question, even though the cover is crap. And guess what? The album itself is crap as well. It is really bad. Kroll is singing in this weird B-L-U-T, we're all fucking guilty type of vocal style. It is terrible. It doesn't get good until the song I'm in Darkness, track 5. It sounds a little bit more like Atrocity, but it's not enough to save this record. This album is a disgrace. Why I still have it in my collection, I don't know. But after this, they kind of went to a dancey goth thing. So they were lost. They're still together. They're still doing stuff. I know he ended up doing Leaves Eyes with his, I think, ex-wife now. What's her name? Liv Christie?
Liv Kristen or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But Yep, and now Atrocity, I think, is back with a girl singer again. I don't know. But anyway, stop
Did
here
you
with
see
this
them
band.
play Metal Fest 01?
I didn't see it.
Like Milwaukee.
Oh, that was
Metal
an atrocity.
Fest.
I didn't know anything about that band, and I didn't hear Hallucinations until many years later, and I was like, "That's the same." Whoa, that was the one where they put out that album with like the leather-clad chick with a cello between her legs or something.
Yeah, that's where Meisterwork, or what was that called? I can't remember. I don't know. It's not worth checking out. It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad shit.
They were at that show. The singer was like, "Hey, how about let's hear it for our bass player? It's his birthday!" And I just yelled, "Happy fucking birthday!" So bad.
All right, Bill, talk a lot. I'm gonna go use the little boys' room. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Oh yeah, one of the all-time. This is one of the all-time favorite from gold to shit here. So Discharge. You got Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing. So one of the greatest like hardcore punk records of all time, I would say. This kind of codifies. There's a whole fucking genre. The D-beat, it comes from Discharge. Yep. They've spawned a million clones for good reason, because they had a formula, just short, punchy songs, usually a couple great riffs, usually in and out in 2 minutes or less, impactful lyrics about, society, the government, war, the futility of human existence, all that sort of stuff. So, there wouldn't be, hardcore punk wouldn't have evolved the way it did without Discharge, I would say. But then, I don't have the actual record, but I do have this bootleg that is amazing and hilarious. So they put out an album called Grave New World, and you can see sort of like this is a photo of what the band looked like. Big change. Couple of the members are the same. So the two brothers, Tez and Bones, they were the drummer and the guitarist. They started Broken Bones, and Broken Bones were kind of like a more metallic take on kind of Discharge, kind of like if you took Motorhead and kind of infused it into Discharge, a little more of that. So they put out this record, Grave New World. This is a live bootleg, and it has
Grave New World.
Oh yeah, this is a live bootleg of 2 shows recorded in the U.S. on the Grave New World tour, and they are fucking hilarious. The LA show, they're playing all these songs off Grave New World, so you can see in the LA show they played with DRI, Possessed, and Attitude Adjustment. So you can hear on this record the crowd noise at various points. The crowd is screaming, "Fuck you, louder than the band. Like they're drowning out the band. And then they're screaming, DRI, louder than the band. And at one point, Discharge, they play, I think 3 or 4 songs, and they walk off. They walk off stage. They get so pissed off. They're like, "Fuck you guys, we're fucking leaving," And you can hear people in the crowd being like, "What the fuck happened to this band? Are any of these people the original members? Who the fuck are they? Are these guys?" And like the promoters come out and they get on the mics and they're like, "Hey, you guys are being real assholes, and these guys came a long way to play their songs for you. So, if you want them to play any more, you guys need to calm down." And like the people in the crowd are like, "We want them to play the old songs, the fucking good songs." And the promoters are just arguing with them. They're like, "Well, they don't want to play those songs. They want to play these new songs. And you guys need to be respectful and just let them play what they want, man." And like, they do come out and play one of their old songs. They play State Violence, State Control, but they play it in the totally lame cock rock version. Like Cal, the vocalist, that's him here. You can see him with like his hair all of a sudden is all like weirdly like blown out, like feathered. And he's trying to do this high falsetto vocal all the time, and it's awful. Wow. It's just really, really bad. And I don't know. At this point, like they did a few more records after this, and they kind of tried to right the ship. They kind of tried to be a little harder again, and it didn't work. They broke up, and then eventually in the early 2000s, Bones and Tez reformed the band, and got it back to being actual Discharge. And they're still doing it. Cal, they did do one record with him as the vocalist again, and he went back to his old, hardcore style. But I think now they've got, they had one of the guys from the Verukers who, were very heavily influenced by Discharge to be the vocalist and stuff. So, yeah, Grave New World's fucking terrible. And it's amazing that it's in a course of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, they go from being this savage, aggressive, in your face punk band to being like a warmed over Dokken clone or something, and being terrible at it too. Awful
That Grave
shit.
New World record's entered my life twice. I bought it once in a used bin, all excited. Ooh, Discharge, cool.
Me
And
too. Yeah.
crap. I'm like, whoa. I gave it to some friends who ironically like it. And
Yeah.
which is funny because they like the old stuff too. They dig it. They just dig it. Anyway, and it come back. Someone gave me another one. I ended up breaking it on camera, I think. And when you
Nice.
break a record, man, pieces go everywhere. Don't do it. It's
Yeah.
it's got to be a controlled break because it's a lot of cleanup. And it's kind of dangerous because you got to really like.
It's sharp. Yeah.
They're really bendy, and when they break, it's like shards. It's not good.
Yeah. I got it the first time I ever picked it up. I think it was like 1995. I got it on cassette, and then I didn't know it even existed. I was like, "Oh, what is this? What is this Discharge record I've never heard of before?" I bought it used, and I put it in my friend's tape deck, and we start listening to it, and I'm just like, fucking, like, I think my jaw almost hit the ground. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is happening here? Is this the same band? Is this really Discharge? And
Yep.
yeah, it was, and it exists, and it's awful.
It's awful. Yep. Again, crucified for trying something new. And I mean, can you blame them? I mean, they're past, and then that record, it makes no sense. It doesn't even chart.
No, it doesn't.
All right, Ben.
That sounds like one of the worst falls from grace I've ever heard of.
Oh, it is. It is.
I would be surprised if you guys know about the one that follows this classic album, Hushmirka.
I've heard the newish one that came out, and it wasn't very good. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. I worship this album. It's
great.
Folk metal Bible right here. But I feel like this might have been the last vestiges of black metal leaving Fenris's body. Because he followed up with, I don't know how to pronounce this thing, not even like fake Norwegian, but he recorded this not long after that one, and this came out in 2020. And I thought, I'm ready to pre-order the fuck out of that thing. I can't wait. That's got to be great. How could that be bad? Oh boy. But oh boy. He definitely he went down like the 70s thing. He's so fascinated with like 70s hard rock kind of stuff, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's more like Margosian and Alan's kind of wheelhouse, but for me, I don't care. I don't care about any of that crap. But so he's trying to like replicate Uriah Heep and a bunch of other references that I would never even understand. But the vocals are god awful. Is this guy saying that the Isengard album is impeccable?
Either that or Disgrace or Discharge. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is far from impeccable. I worship Fenris and so many things that he does, but this is just an absolute disgrace. Yeah, it's pretty funny, but I'll be amazed if you last more than 3 songs on it. It's even recorded pretty terribly.
Well, that's cool. You like it, man. It seems like there like that album has got like the same number of songs, like multiple cuts of the same song or something. I checked it out when it was coming out digitally, and it seemed like there was a lot of repeat songs on there. I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Anyway. Okay, I am next, and we're gonna go this route. This might be my second favorite Overkill album. This is Horoscope. Feel the Fire being my first favorite album. This album is great. Absolutely killer Overkill record. The band's firing on all cylinders. You got Coma, Thanks for Nothing, Bare Bones, Horoscope. Man, it's just a nice day for a funeral. Great songs. And then they come out with this turd.
Yeah.
I Hear Black.
Well, yeah.
I hear a lot of Alice in Chains on this. I'm not gonna lie. It still sounds like
Ooh.
Overkill, but there's a little bit of Alice in Chains. It was right in that pocket. What year is this? I can't see the light in here. The light in here sucks, and so do my eyes. It was right around that time where that stuff was popular, and I don't think they deviated too far from the Overkill sound. It's still an Overkill record. It's just very long. It's very tedious, and it's kind of chuggy. It's just not. It's just not a great record. And, keep the Alice in Chains with Alice in Chains. They do just fine with it. Doesn't belong on Overkill. This is just a boring, sleepy record. After this monster, man, this is just well written, awesome, great thrash record. Kind of getting towards the end of the era, I'm sure, but man, what a turd. Not good. Not a fan. Don't know why I have it.
Do you like any of their albums in the last 15 years or so?
Yeah, there's Ironbound's great, and I mean their last few have been really good. They're still putting out. The Electric Age is good. I mean, they put out good records. The records are a little long, but they're still writing albums for CDs. They're writing really long, lengthy records and then touring the shit out of them, which is fine. I agree, Laps. Nothing wrong with it. Alice in Chains, just not with Overkill. It's not a glaring influence on this record. I just the boring kind of chuggy riffs just kind of indicated that they were listening to it. Maybe, I don't know.
I'll probably have to go back and check out "Feel the Fire" again. I've always just been.
Oh, "Feel the Fire" rules! What a record!
So great.
Such a good record. Their best record. Nothing was ever like it.
Yeah,
a really hard time with Bobby Blitz's vocals.
You're not going to like it if the vocals are a sticky point for you. You're not going to like that record any better.
He had like a background in punk. I think at one point he was like in the Dead Boys for a minute. I think that's why the cover. That's what I was reading. Like,
is that why they did Sonic Reducer?
Yeah, I think that's why they did Sonic Reducer, because I think Stiv Bators left and was doing a solo thing, like doing power pop, and I think they actually had Bobby Blitz singing for them for a minute, and then they broke up. But yeah, I think that's why they cover Sonic Reducer, because he was actually in the Dead Boys. They never recorded anything with him, but I guess they played some shows with him for a while.
Did not know that. Interesting little tidbit there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, Bill.
All right, so since we were talking about Fenriz, we're gonna do. There's a couple Dark Throne records. So we're gonna do what for me is a winner Dark Throne record, an underappreciated Dark Throne record, Total Death.
Yeah,
I think this was originally supposed to, from what I read, it was supposed to be the final Dark Throne record. They were gonna call it quits after this, actually. Obviously they did not, but I really like, it's very thrashy, I mean, it's still, of course, like after Panzerfaust, which was like their most Celtic Frost worshiping record. They kind of speed things up a little bit, but of course there's always a ton of Celtic Frost and everything that Dark Throne does, I really have always liked the Serpent's Harvest, Gather for the Attack on the Pearly Gates, like that song a lot. Earth's Last Picture, and cool artwork too. This kind of cool seascape they've kind of done, later on done kind of some variations on this artwork a little bit. So, but then, and this is such a weird record, obviously, Goat Lord, which
I kind of like it, but
I kind of like it too at times, but it's a rehearsal for the album that was supposed to follow Soulside Journey.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of death metal, but the vocals, of course, like Fenriz's vocals, like, years later he came in and just kind of tossed them off. It feels very tossed off. I guess they wanted to release it just as kind of a document of those songs, because they never really properly recorded them, but I don't know. It's fucking weird, I mean, especially following Total Death. I guess it's kind of like a afterbirth where we're like, oh, if we're actually going to call the band quits, let's just get out everything else that we ever had in the recording. I don't know. Yeah,
I gotta say that if that came out properly recorded after Soulside Journey as it was intended, those songs are not as good as Soulside Journey songs.
No, they're not.
They're not. I mean, there's some good songs on there, but it is not as good. It's a lot more boring than Soulside Journey was.
Yeah. It's very, I mean, again, maybe it's more that 70s thing. It's very trippy. It's trying to be very kind of psychedelic influence. And it doesn't really work very well. I mean, it again, I don't know. Is it a terrible record? But at this point in Dark Throne's career, it was a real head scratcher. You're like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this is exactly, but I'm not.
It was
I'm
a
not
great
feeling
move
it.
that they didn't put that, like they just tossed it aside and went to a Blaze in the Northern Sky. That would have been a pretty catastrophic move for them.
They
Oh, yeah,
must
it
have
would've.
known that the record that they had in the canon for the follow-up wasn't as good a quality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had to do something, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Donheimsgard did a cover of Green Cave Float for that tribute that
Yeah, that
Moonfog put out.
Dark Throne, Holy Dark Throne or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was like the best case scenario for the best song on that album.
Yeah.
Sounded pretty good.
Somebody else picking up the mantle and making it better. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a really cool move to kind of unearth a crap song and make it good.
Yeah. I agree.
The songs just don't sound like they were quite fleshed out. I mean, they were playing through them, they were rehearsing them, but it just seemed like it needed a little more refining. Anyway.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, Ben.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom here.
All right. Well, Dusk and Her Embrace, one of my favorites. But you know what they did right after that? I threw this thing in the garbage. Oh boy. That Dusk and Her Embrace, like they were on such a great trajectory of inspired, theatrical, melodic, creative music. And then they just wanted to be Slayer with Cruelty and the Beast. Anybody else feel that way about it?
The only Cradle I care about is their first album. And I don't even own it, but I have a dub of it from the tape trading days, but I like that record. The rest of them I don't care about so much.
Man, really?
Yeah.
You
I don't
know,
dislike it. I don't
yeah.
dislike. I used to have a handful of them, but I gave them away.
Wow.
I just never listened to them.
I think they're a brilliant band, really doing something special and new. But
They were definitely.
That Cruelty and the Beast. And I've got friends who are just like, yeah, they went to crap after Cruelty and the Beast. I'm like, what? Got Chris Barker just trying to do just a. He's so boring.
Oh, Nick Barker.
Yeah, yes. Did I say Travis Barker?
You said Chris, I think, didn't you? Maybe it was Travis. I don't know.
Yeah, Nick Barker. His drumming on Dusk and Her Embrace is so elaborate and methodical and just ornate. It kind of reminds me of Ola Omen's drumming on Storm and Light's Bane. Just everywhere, just tumbling up and down.
Yep.
But this album is so uninspired and stupid. If I had to pick one Cradle, it'd be Vampire. It's kind of a long EP. It's got some of the songs from the debut on it, but a little more well produced. I think you would give that a shot.
We'll check it out.
Oh, Tyler, we part ways here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get this one out of the way. This is kind of an obvious one. Desultory. I don't know how you say it. Their second album, Bitterness. Good, solid, Sweet Death.
Oh yeah.
Melodic, good. Kind of a band that got ahead of the pack for some reason. They got signed to Metal Blade. They got on a major label push, and where a lot of the other bands were kind of languishing on European labels and not really getting a whole lot of US love until a little bit later. But then they put out this follow-up album, Swallow the Snake. Man, oh man, oh man. You want to talk about a festering turd record. This is it. It is, they like, hey, Entombed went kind of groovy and rock and roll, and so did Grave, and Dismember did a little bit, and so did all these other bands. We're going to do it too. And oh, it is bad. It is. I used to own it. I might have tossed it. I might have sold it on eBay. I don't know. But man, this album is it's bad. I mean, look at the band photo on the back. They're even trying to be like, we're tough, we're in a fight and stuff. But no, it's, if you never heard this record, maybe put it on for a minute. Maybe, I haven't listened to it since it came out. Maybe it's aged better than it has, but Entombed were doing it good. They were kind of the trendsetters in this, and they did a good job. Their rock and roll records were good. I like Wolverine Blues and To Ride Shoot Straight better than Clandestine. So I mean, they were doing a good job, but all the people that were trying to mimic them, not so much. That album's terrible. Swallow the Snake, avoid. All right, Bill.
All right, since we're going kind of in that same camp in the old mellow death territory here, most people, this is a divisive record, but most people, when it came out, you remember Slaughter.
I have this pick too, by the way.
Yeah, everybody fucking loved this record. And I think the first half of this record is quite good. The second half, it gets very samey. All the songs just kind of blur together. That's kind of, it hasn't held up as well. I've talked about how, for me, with Fear I Kiss the Burning Darkness is my favorite At the Gates full length. And I really like Gardens of Grief a lot too. And this is okay still. I don't hold it in as high esteem as I used to, but you have to admit this was an achievement for this band. They streamlined their sound. They managed to fuse kind of like their death metal with more of a Slayer type vibe and being super catchy, memorable riffs. This, and then breaking up after this, that was the right thing to do. What else were they going to do?
Yep.
There was nowhere else for them to go. There was only going to be an embarrassment if they kept going. Well, 20 years later, they come back with this at war with reality, which should be called At Bore with Reality. It is the most saccharine, dull, pointless record I have heard. I do not like any of the At the Gates comeback records. One of the big issues, of course, Tampa's vocals are shot. They are shot. Too many years of probably drinking, fucking smoking, not good vocal technique, all of the above, and have wrecked his voice, and it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Shit, his voice was wrecked on The Red in the Sky Is Ours.
Yeah. I mean, I think he just really, he was going for it. He was screaming. He was feral, but I think there was really just no technique there, and I think he just blew his voice out, did some permanent damage to his vocal cords, and you could hear it. It's just very thin and weak and just hoarse sounding, but no dynamics or tone anymore. And it's particularly bad on this too. I don't know, the album cover sucks. I don't know what I mean, not that At the Gates ever had great album covers, they never have, but this, I don't know what the fuck this is. There's 15 songs on this.
It's too long. Yeah.
Way too long.
No.
Yeah, there's bonus. This has 3 bonus tracks.
Yeah.
Oh my god, though. I mean, it's I've only listened to this twice. I don't know why I even keep it. I need to fucking get rid of it because I've had it since it came out and I never listened to it. I listened to a song today to kind of refresh my memory. I listened to, I think, Death in the Labyrinth, and I was like, oh my god, it's so fucking dull. I can't do it. I couldn't listen to another song. I couldn't do it. So,
yeah, it's a tough sell.
Yeah, have to tap out on. They should never have put out new records.
No,
they shouldn't have done it. It's bad.
Yep, I didn't go back to them. And when they started the Haunted after that, I still don't think I've ever heard the Haunted.
It's so, I don't like it.
Yeah,
it's At the Gates with a bit of a hardcore vibe to it.
Yeah, and thrashier. They lean more into thrash.
Yeah.
But it's not great either.
I always knew I wasn't missing anything.
No,
you weren't. You're not. So,
all right, Ben.
Plenty other records to listen to, like this one, Norway's brilliant symphonic black metal, Obtained Enslavement. Anybody heard of these guys?
Oh yeah, I got some of their
Witchcraft
stuff.
Was amazing, and they followed it up with, I don't know, if Witchcraft is a 10 out of 10, I'd say Soul Blight might be like an 8.5, maybe 7.
I don't know if I've heard Soul Blight. I don't know if I've heard that one. I have Witchcraft.
Oh, really?
I've had the Shepherd and the Hounds of Hell, which is crap.
Yeah. This is very, very good. Surprising that they were able to kind of piece together an album nearly that good. But then they should have stopped.
Yeah, that is so. Welcome to Napalm Records album covers. They had to have a naked girl on the cover always.
So bad.
Like they went into an Italian restaurant and put their logo down on the placemat.
Let's play checkers.
Oh, it's so bad.
Chessboard, classy, very classy.
I think I tried pretty hard to like this. I feel like if I put this on, I would kind of know the riffs. It's been a long time because I'm just so mad about it. Yeah, they just kind of tried to be thrashy. Simon, have you never heard this turd?
It's a turd.
Bother? I don't know if I would say don't bother or not, but yeah.
That album cover looks like a Mactatus album cover. Looks like a what the hell is the name? Schwangbergen album cover. Remember them? They had like the naked vampire girls on there. My boobies are evil, you know. That was like the Napalm Records motif for that whole year. Everything that came out had a naked vampire chick on it. Anyway,
they knew their demographic, I guess.
Yeah. Ride the Whore, Millennium Beast.
Wow.
It's got a great production on it. It's probably like, I don't know, Studio Fredman or something, but
they spent some money.
Yeah, Napalm really pushed this kind of thing way too hard.
I mean, I like naked chicks as much as the next guy, but not on my album cover necessarily.
I don't know where they found so many bands that were doing this kind of thing. I couldn't tell if they were like, are you causing this problem or just finding it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. Good pick. Good pick. Up next. Okay, let's get ready to take your shot. You got this classic, Keepers of the Seven Keys Part 2. No denying it's this band single-handedly with one double LP's worth of material single-handedly created European power metal. They followed up after a very long time with this album, Pink Bubbles Go Ape, which I like about a quarter of this record. The rest of it's pretty bad. You know, Pink Kids of the Century rules, Back on the Street rules. Heavy Metal Hamsters is a good song, even though it's stupid. The Chance, great song. Mankind is decent. I don't know, but there's just a lot of so writing on the wall. The band has been going through a court case, trying to break away from Noise Records, and it has just did not go well for them. But anyway, yeah, there's quite a difference in quality between these two. It still sells like Halloween. The album that came out after this one, Chameleon, which hopefully we'll be listening to when we hit 5,000 subscribers for Alan. That album is so bad. But this is still has some listenable stuff on it. As a Halloween fan, I can even listen to Chameleon, even though it's bad. It's bad. But yep, I had to show some Halloween. After that, it's really that Pink Bubbles and Chameleon are the only two really missteps in their catalog. They've had an epic run, man. Epic run. Whether you like every song on every album, the Darius era rules. That guy saved Halloween. He's a great songwriter. He knows what Halloween is. And man, banger after banger album. Love it. Good stuff. One of my favorite bands. Everybody's probably shitting their pants in the...
They're like, oh, Halloween. But they had to know. I mean,
yeah, they knew it was
coming. It's got to be Halloween.
You have to look, yeah. Okay, Mr. Bill, you're up.
Okay. So
me either, Gavin. Yeah. Everybody, if you're a wallflower, subscribe, damn it. We gotta get up to 5,000. Anyway.
Make it happen. We gotta make Alan listen to Chameleon. I know it's gonna be the best day of his life. Mm-hmm. There's no denying it. All right, so classic death metal band with classic record, Effigy of the Forgotten, of course. The song Legion of Veracity. There you go. There's where the whole slam breakdowns that they begin right there, and no one has ever done it better than that song. I'm not a super big brutal death metal guy, but I can recognize. I love Human Waste by Suffocation. This record in particular, then Effigy of the Forgotten, Despise the Sun, great stuff. Mike Smith, that guy's an incredible drummer.
Yeah,
like his presence and Suffocation's still going. He's not in it. Terrence Hobbs is the only original.
He's got a band, a death metal band he's in. I can't remember. The name. They're pretty good. I can't
remember either. I know it is. It's a bunch of other classic. One of the guys from Sinister.
Oh, okay.
And I want to say maybe somebody from the original Malevolent Creation lineup too. But it's like a bunch of veterans.
Scourge.
Yeah.
Voracious Scourge. That's it.
Voracious
Yeah.
Scourge, yeah. And it's decent. I've listened to some of it online, and it's decent. I mean, but it's just awesome to hear him play drums. But yeah, I mean, this album, so many bands rip this off and have ripped off Suffocation in general, you know, for better or worse. But then they follow it up with Breeding the Spawn.
This really isn't it the kind of the production that kills that.
The production.
Yeah.
They have re-recorded every song on this album, and their very next record, Pierce from Within, they re-record this title track from this, and they've gone on to re-record every single thing. I don't know what happened, because I think it was more a sound for the other one, and I think Roadrunner just kind of pulled. This is like, it's not the band's fault. It's like, I think Roadrunner just kind of pulled the rug out from under them as far as the financing went, and it was like, you're going to have to go to bargain basement producer here, and this whole record's going to sound like it's recorded under a stinking wet mattress, and like everything's going to sound like the drums are going to sound like cardboard boxes, and guitars are just like a muddled mess, and songs good, production very bad. The band, I know, hates this record and has re-recorded everything. Everything has been re-recorded later on, so kind of one of those, like, not their fault, but it's a sad misstep. Probably the label's fault more than anything. So yeah,
I have that album on my phone as that album, but it's all the re-recorded versions of the songs.
Yeah.
It looks like that producer of that album, though, he's only ever produced like a demo. That's it.
Yeah, I think
it's not like somebody just had a misstep and went on to do great things.
Yeah, nope, didn't know what he was doing.
We may not have very much crossover. I would be surprised if any of you pick this one, but Luca Turilli, big fan.
I'm
one
fan.
of my favorite power metal bands.
Yep,
had a brilliant run there with King of the Distant Forest and then Prophet of the Last Eclipse. But then somehow this happened.
For anybody that doesn't know, Luca Turilli was the guy in Rhapsody and Rhapsody of Fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he has Luca Turilli's Rhapsody.
Yep.
Yep. The man, he's lost his mind. I don't know what happened, but dude was an amazing songwriter, and wanted. I do not understand the impulse of the urge to work like tons of operatic vocals into metal. It's just
that's kind of it's symphonic power metal. It's kind of the thing,
But can't do it. So that album is trash. It's probably like 75% female operatic vocals, and they're good. It's fine. I don't need that. But riffs are boring. It's all orchestral, symphonic kind of garbage. No good.
They started to he started to think that I'm a composer.
Right. Compose metal
guy.
Like
I'm a
composer. I could be the next Beethoven or Bach.
I've done symphonies with Sir Christopher Lee. Yeah.
I don't know how you can
Which is a pretty good, he was a pretty good baritone, to be honest. For as old as Christopher Lee was, he actually kind of ripped on the Rhapsody stuff. I liked it. I was surprised. Yep.
I don't know where you could have gone from Prophet. That was a great record, but not there.
No. All right. I got to say, this pick here, the album that I'm going to show is the one that sucked. I end up liking, but when I'm going on my first impression here. First of all, you got this genius stroke here. Tales from a Thousand Lakes. Is it as good as a Cornelian Isthmus? No, it isn't. Writing's kind of on the wall that they're going to start getting a little more proggy, a little more 70s inspired, but still, Tommy, his vocals are super heavy and dark and dank and awesome on this record. The songs, man, all the songs on here are super catchy, big earworm hooks. I remember when this came in the mail, my friend Jeff Wagner was the PR guy for Relapse. I was going to call him laughing and say, what the hell are you guys doing putting out this garbage? Basically, Amorphous dropped 99% of the death metal stuff and embraced the 70s side. Tommy's vocals, there's a few death grunts here and there, but this guy is the new singer, which I end up liking him. And after I refrained from calling and laughing at my friend, but I ended up spinning this record, and it was probably a week into it because I had to cover it for something. I ended up loving it. The songs on here are so catchy. I mean, it's amorphous minus the heavy death stuff, but I dig it. But the old death metal guy in me was pretty disappointed when it came out. So does this album suck? No, but at the time, for the first week of owning this, I thought it was hot garbage. Kind of the same thing for like Paradise Lost 1 Second album. I hated that record too, but ended up liking it after I took it out of the garbage and spun it. And I'm like, it's catchy. I get it. I like it. So yep, earworm. I'm always a sucker for an earworm, but that was a tough pill to swallow for about a week.
Yeah. You know, Necrolord did the cover for that?
For this?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's blue. I guess that's his thing.
So yeah, it's a little more geometric though than what he usually does. That actually is a really good record. Like
it is.
It's about as good as progressive metal can get, honestly. Like, you know, I too, when I first heard it, I really wanted to hate it because the death metal is almost completely gone. There's like 90% prog and, you know, 10% death metal, but the songs are just really well written. And like said, they're very catchy. You know, all the organ stuff and ever on there is really good and great singing. Can't fault it, honestly. Not now, anyway.
No, you can't now. It is held up well, and it was a bold move for him back then, but it paid off. They're still a thing. They've kind of gone back to the Tales from the Thousand Lakes, I think, style a little more. It seems like.
Yeah.
They got a little more death. They mixed it.
Yeah, they've kind of like mixed all eras now together where they can do the more 70s prog metal stuff, they can do the death metal stuff and kind of seamlessly go back and forth. And they're good enough musicians, they can pull it off. And that's really something that escapes, I think, a lot of bands. They're not always dexterous enough musicians to be able to pull off that kind of complexity and great range kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But Amorphous are.
Seems like they were all kind of inspired by the new singer coming in, wanting to embrace that whole direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, what you got?
All right. I have talked about this record. A lot of people hate this record. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, but I do think the experimentation on this record mixed with the classic sound is still good for me. Danzig 4, the last record with the original lineup. Most of the songs on here I really like. Brand New God is really good. Going Down to Die is actually like a pretty great ballad where Danzig channels a little Roy Orbison on there. Until You Call in the Dark sounds like classic Danzig. Dominion's another ballad that works. Bringer of Death, again, sounds like classic, you know, Danzig, bluesy metal Danzig. The only song I really hate, there's a song called Sadistical on here that's like really stupid, kind of like industrial noises with him kind of like just saying dark, evil things over it. And yeah, that sucks. But Let It Be Captured, that song's really good too. But what, you know, and like I said, it kind of made me excited because I knew Danzig liked goth stuff and things, and like maybe the experimentation would work out. But of course, then after that record, all the other members leave, and Danzig puts out Black Acid Devil Danzig 5, which is Danzig embracing like White Zombie and wanting to do like third-rate kind of like Nine Inch Nails Ministry stuff. It's terrible. I have particularly the first song, The Seventh House. I had a roommate, he loved this record. He loved the Misfits and he loved this record. And this record, when it came out in, 1996, this was like his having sex with a lady record. He would put this record on, and the first song, oh my God, the very first line in the first song, Danzig sings, "Girl, I'm gonna make you come, free your body with my gun." It's just like, so it was like, I knew whenever I heard this record kick on, like I'd be in my room, you know, late at night, I hear this record kick on, I'd be like, oh my God, there's nasty fucking drunk sex happening in the other room. And I just cringing, crying. He does a cover of Hand of Doom by Black Sabbath on here. It's fucking terrible. The only song I like on this, there's a song called "Come to Silver" that he wrote for Johnny Cash that never got used because, he and Rick Rubin had a huge falling out. Danzig and Rick Rubin. He was like, "Fuck you, I'm taking my fucking song with me," and he recorded it on here, and it actually is pretty good. But and then up until Danzig 8, like he puts out 2 more records that are terrible, mall goth, Marilyn Manson meets White Zombie dog shit. He's wearing his latex gloves, of course, has his naked titty ladies around him and all the photo shoots, trying to look cool and masculine, and it's embarrassing. So bad shit.
All right, good pick, Ben.
Oh, Danzig just gets under my skin. I can't do it. Never was a Misfits guy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I get it.
Anybody? I feel like this is an album that is really slept on. December Wolves, completely dehumanized. I
like that band.
That
all
band
the way
good,
from the demo. I like their Wolf Tread demo, and I like all their stuff.
Yeah, they were good.
You like this one?
It's all right. Yeah.
I felt like this was the Get Me Out of My Contract.
It's a dumb name, a dumb cover. I mean,
don't they have an album called Blasterpiece Theater too?
That's what he's holding.
Yeah, okay, that is Blasterpiece Theater. Okay, I couldn't read the font, but yeah.
I mean,
that almost looks like a haunted album cover, to be honest.
It really does. Yeah, the snake out of the businessman's head.
Like, I'm offended that this is in my collection.
It's my least favorite of their 3 records for sure. Like, yeah.
But Completely Dehumanized is such a ripper. What a violent, like, modernistic take on
that's a great album.
I mean, and like nothing like their Till 10 Years album.
Yeah, that's like a straight up black metal record pretty much.
Their demo Wolf Tread is really, really good. Really good demo.
I don't know if I've heard that at all.
I got the tape. But yeah.
I think some of the guys from December Wolves, weren't they in? I think they were in Trap Them. Maybe 1 or 2 of those guys went on to Trap Them. Yeah. Who I've seen, and they were okay. They didn't really do it for me, but they were all right.
Trap Them had this EP. Actually, no, but in between this and Trap Them, they had this like 5-song EP where they were called Trap Them and Kill Them.
Mm-hmm.
And that EP, for some reason, is super rare. And I put it up on my channel a couple years ago because I couldn't even find MP3s of it anywhere. I dug around on an old hard drive and found it. But that shit is violent as hell. It makes sense when you understand the move to Trap Them. I don't think I've really heard any Trap Them though that I can think of. Maybe right when they started up or so.
All right.
But if you haven't heard Completely Dehumanized, holy crap.
It's a ripper. It's really caustic and fierce. It's a great record.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to chop away at a band's legacy here a little bit. I got to say, when Robert Lowe joined Candlemass, this album, King of the Grey Islands, I loved it. Embracing the Sticks, the last song on here, holy crap, what a monster song. And the feeling he's singing in these songs is just over the top. And he's proved himself with Solitude Aeternus, and this seems like a very logical fit. Come to find out, someone else wrote the vocal lines for this album. So he basically just showed up and sang the vocal lines that were planned already. He's a competent singer. He nailed it. Great. This turd comes out, Death Magic Doom, where he's left to his own devices to sing along to the songs that were written for him. And oh my God, what's the song on here about the queen bee? Ugh, it's so terrible. I don't know. He follows the riffs verbatim. There's no feeling. There's no spirit. It sounds like Robert Lowe just singing Candlemass riffs. And I know people on here like this album, which is fine, but it sounds like Candlemass. It's not their most inspired musically either, but it's really brought down by unimaginative vocal melodies. He is a great voice. He just didn't in the long run gel with this band. It just wasn't a good fit. They're Swedish. He's American. It just wasn't destined to go the distance. This though is a great record. If you're going to check out Robert Lowe era Candlemass, this is a great album. King of the Gray Line. Like I said, Embracing the Sticks. What a song, man. What a great song. But Death, Magic, Doom is not a good album.
Did he just do those two?
There's also a Lucifer Rising EP as well he did, which is really bad. Really repetitive. Not good. Not good.
Yeah, it kind of casts his whole legacy in doubt, where you're like, with one of the guitarists, in Solitude Aeternus, were they writing his vocal lines?
I was told John Perez wrote all that stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense, because I heard Death Magic Doom. I bought it when it came out, and I was like, this fucking sucks. Like, wow, like there's no variation in any of the vocal patterns. The rhythms, like you said, they verbatim follow every riff. And yeah, that makes sense. Like, he's a solid singer, but he's just has no creativity, I guess, which is sad to see. He's just like a machine, like AI, like it's like an AI version of singing. A human being.
And after Solitude, he sang for this band called Grief Collector and did maybe an album. And I remember just going, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. And then they kicked him out. So he must be really hard to get along with, too.
Yeah.
Well, he also sang on the New Tyrant album.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Yeah. And what I heard of it, it sounded like he's found the lines. I think the guy can sing Psalm for the... Oh, yeah, that's right. He is on Psalm for the Dead. Sorry. Yeah, not good, man. His whole era after King of the Grey Islands, it's just not good. It's just not good. Wasn't a good fit. Should have been, but it wasn't. All right. Bill.
Okay. Here's one that's a pretty easy pick as well. This record, revitalized this band's career after a couple iffy records. So you got Judas Priest, Painkiller here. They come ripping out of the gate with this into the 90s. I mean, fuck, man. The title track, how can you not raise your fist? It's Metal Might, your steel is true when you're listening to Painkiller. So, after Turbo, I like Turbo. Turbo grew on me. Ram It Down, that's not a very good record, but this album,
okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I think it's the drumming. The drumming on Ram It Down is pretty weak, but yeah, this, of course, amazing. But after this, Halford leaves. Halford does Fight, and Fight successful. He does that 2 project, I think, with Trent Reznor. So what is Judas Priest? 7 years later, they come back with Jugulator.
It's so bad.
Oh, it's so bad. Tim the Ripper Owens. And
should have been good.
Yeah.
They tried to be modern.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like they tune down, they start trying to do heavier, chuggy riffs, and it's embarrassing. Like, it just does not work. And nobody they're dressing all in like trench coats. They're kind of dressed like Kiss on the Revenge album, sort of like that, where it's like kind of grungy, but also kind of industrial, metal-y leaning, but it just loses everything that made Priests. Like, their identity, they just cast it in the garbage, and we're like, no, young kids, we're hip and cool too, and we've got this guy that can really sing and can note for note copy our previous singer, but we're going to squander his talent largely on these, Z-grade chug riffs. So not a good look. Not a good look for Judas Priest. And the Demolition, the follow-up, also terrible, also bad stuff.
Agreed.
How the mighty fall.
They do. Ben.
Did you know Eucharist put out an album this year?
No.
I heard about it, but I never listened to it.
Keep it that way. It's called I Am the Void, and it just sounds like really boring Obsidian kind of black metal. Just really dense and blasty and uninspired, and it just sounds nothing like the Eucharist that did A Velvet Creation. And after being down for
Mirror, what was all that one that follows up? Mirror Worlds?
Sorry, yeah, Mirror Worlds. Yeah,
Mirror Worlds.
Yeah, which I didn't really like back in the day, but I've come around to it.
It's a good record.
Yeah, I like both those.
They should have just stopped. Just don't. I don't know where they got the gumption to put out this piece of crap, but
Boy, if any album could ever benefit from being re-recorded, a Velvet Creation would have been, especially because the demo sounds so crushing and awesome. Then a Velvet Creation's got all that classic awesome material, but it sounds so crappy.
Yeah. That somebody put out a demo comp of their stuff 2 years ago or so. I have it around here somewhere. It is killer.
Again, some bands just can't go the distance, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, it sucks.
All right, let's do this one. I got still a bunch of fun ones here. Some records. Some stuff. All right. Well, during the Noise Records era, this was a favorite band of mine. Coroner, Mental Vortex. Granted, of the first 4 records, this one is starting to show them maybe de-techifying a little bit. There's still some tech on here, but there's some more crunchy riffs. It's still really well written, really good record. I ended up enjoying it. But what came out after it, Grin. What a wow. Bad record. In fact, I should have listened to this. I haven't spun this since it came out because it sucked. I remember it being just straight up awful. And people still say they like this record, and apparently the band still likes this record because they still play songs from it live, and I hear that they got an album coming out that's going to sound in this vein. So who are we to judge? But I mean, you're getting older, you don't want to play those crazy riffs anymore. I get it, but this is just a streamlined, it doesn't sound like the same band to me. I need to revisit it. I should have done it today. I have not had the time to do it, but what a departure. I mean, the whole lineup of albums leading up to this record, it was whispering greatness in our ear, and they gave us a pretty lame record. Yep, some people like it. Anyway, Ken, good seeing you, man. Anytime, let me know. I'll even hit you up. I gotta get you back on. I'd love to have you back on, man. You know that. Anyway, okay.
Love for Ken.
Bill.
Cheers, Ken.
All right. So Marty may have this picked too, this record, this band put out several great records here, and then this is, a big pivot for them, but it's a really good pivot, I still think. I have it on a 2-for-1, but I didn't grab it. I just thought of it now. Sentenced, Amok. I really like this record.
Love that record.
Yeah. It's, a good blend of like kind of the gothic elements with, their first record, straight up death metal. It's a brilliant death metal record. North from here it gets more melodic, but kind of there's elements of black metal there. There's, all sorts of cool stuff going on. And
first 4 records sound completely like different bands. 4 different bands.
Yeah. And Amok sees them almost kind of channeling a little more, Sisters of Mercy, but doing a great
Fields
job.
of the Nephilim. Fields of the
Nephilim too, And
Jarva's vocals were very Carl McCoy.
Yeah, he gets that kind of sort of somewhat monotone, but cool and cold sounding. But of course, I think their last album, the Funeral album, I saw them on this tour, and it was, I don't know, it was just very cheesy.
Actually, the album that followed Amok is an album called Down.
Okay.
But it's the same thing. Once they hit the Down era, all those records sound exactly the same.
This was the one I think is like the worst for me. Like, I know it's not right after, but like their final record, I saw them on this tour, and I couldn't get into it at all. I was like, so different than, even Amok, very, very different. So I don't think I've necessarily even heard Down. I think there was a long period between Amok and probably the Funeral album that I just didn't keep up with it. So
it's like the only comparison I can think of is like going from Carnivore to Typo Negative.
Yeah,
it's like more commercial goth. Ladies really liked it, and that the whole sentence changed once they hit that Down era. It was like the Century Media sound at the time when it came out. Amok hinted at it, but Amok was still a really good record. Where Down, and in fact, Down has got some good songs on it. It's just it's just not a record made for
You're
me.
coming around to it.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to it. I probably reviewed it when it came out, but it's a goth chick record. It just is, and
Yeah.
I don't know
I'll
if
have to
that's
listen to
mean,
that.
but yeah,
To that one. I don't think I've ever listened to it actually.
they all just kind of stayed in that vein as soon as they hit that the gravy train with that one. But
Yeah.
Ben, are we keeping you up past your bedtime?
I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I'm in bed by 8 o'clock these days, and it's 10 now here.
Oh boy,
I've got
But-
like maybe one more myself, and then
I've got a bunch.
Oh, okay, so Marty can keep ripping it.
I have like 3 more, I think, and one of them I believe you have, Marty. So,
I don't have to show it. I got others.
we all love Soul of a Machine, right?
Yeah.
I do.
And I really got into this band with the manufacturer, but this thing doesn't hold up.
Man, I love that record. I think it's really good. It's still like
it was good in my head for so long, and maybe about 5 years ago or so, I was like, you know what? This thing rules, doesn't it? Oh boy, I couldn't do it. I should just. It's been long enough since I have listened to this one even, and I should go back and play this one even more. What a brilliant one. And they also did another, their demo was reissued as something called Concrete not too long ago, if you're a diehard for this album. But yeah, Demanufacture was really forward thinking and super of the moment, but I don't think it held up whatsoever.
cheers to Ian and who else is there's a couple Europeans in here watching tonight, so cheers to all you night owls. Glad to have Mike, Germany, 509 in Germany. Soldiers, pull it together, Smasher.
True warriors. True warriors.
All right.
I'm sick.
Me too. I've got the crud. I'm
I
sick
saw
of it.
Simon Pieface. Love that gentleman. He's great. He's a Brit.
All right. Yep. We got some late nighters over in Europe. Cheers to all you guys. And for me, I've kind of come around on one of these records a little bit, but when it came out, I was not having it. But anyway, I like this record, and I've stated that in the past on here that Coma Souls is starting to show signs of being tired. Extreme Aggression is a tough album to follow, and basically they tried to write the same album twice. This album is good. I like it. I know I can sing. You can put it on and I can sing along an air guitar to this whole thing, but do I like it as much as Extreme Aggression? I don't. But when Renewal came out, man, I wasn't having this. I was so excited. And this is Milla embracing more of a hardcore vibe, which I dig hardcore, but I didn't want Creator to sound like a hardcore band. I didn't. I rebought this thing in the last 2 or 3 years and been spinning it, and I kind of like it now. I get it. What is it? Europe After the Rain. I mean, there's some good songs on here. It just was a grower, but man, when it came out, I was not down. I was not down with the sound at all. It was starting to slip a little bit here for me, and this here was just, and then from here, it's just album after album of really not that great. And then they hit the album Endorama, where they tried to do the gothic thing a little bit, which was so popular. Wow, that did not look good on them at all. And I applaud them for trying something different, but in this case, I don't want a band like Creator to be doing stuff like that. But
yeah, abandoning thrash was not a good look for Creator. It didn't help them very much.
No, it didn't. And they ended up coming back to it eventually, and now they're kind of they sound like a modern Swedish melodeath band. But
yeah.
Anyway,
I've been doing that for a little while too, but oh well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And Bill, you're up.
All right. So this is the last one that I grabbed here. Not that this is the best record by this band, but I still like this record a lot. Motorhead 1916.
That's a great record.
Yeah. I mean, it's not their best, certainly, but I like this record a lot. You got, No Voice in the Sky, No Voices in the Sky. That's a great song.
Great song.
Ramones, Love Me
That's a good
Forever, The One to Sing the Blues. Shut You Down, the title track. Great fucking songs, you know. And I liked this lineup a lot when you have Wurzel in the band as well, you know. But the follow-up, March or Die,
Not so good.
Not
a good
so
record.
good. It's arguably the worst Motorhead record after maybe the very first Motorhead record, which barely sounds like Motorhead. But this record, pretty tired, man. Of course, Hellraiser, the big hit they did for Hellraiser 3 with Ozzy. I don't like that song very much. It's passable, but they do a Cat Scratch Fever, Ted Nugent cover also. You know,
the only Cat Scratch Fever cover I ever liked was the Fudge Tunnel one off Hate Songs in E minor. Just because that damn guitar tone's as thick as a buffalo, you know.
Yeah, Alex Newport. It sounds different enough from Nugent that this is a pretty straightforward cover. But there just really aren't any standout tracks on this record, you know. Even a bad Motorhead record isn't terrible, but that one is pretty tired, and the cracks are kind of showing. I think Wurzel, shortly after that, he was on Bastards, and I think they booted him because they said he couldn't play any of his own solos. I think his drinking and shit had gotten so bad that he just couldn't hold it together. So, yeah, but that's my last one, Motorhead 1916, and then March or Die.
All right. Okay, Ben.
Is my connection going bad on you, or do I sound okay?
No, you sound fine. I just
seem good.
You seem fine. You're still plugging.
Okay. Get a little glitchy, and I got an error message, but surprised I haven't gone to shit tonight yet. Norway's Manes, or Manes, if you want to mispronounce it.
Manes, yeah.
Under a Blood Red Moon. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
And the demos, great.
Yes. Oh, I spin those down. Well, they followed it up with this stupid thing, Villasoph. This was like their Radiohead, and like I get it, they're doing the Ulver thing or whatever. I love your hairless cat analogy.
Hairless cat and a red wine.
And a sweater.
Yeah.
And a hair back in a little, maybe a man bun.
Definitely a man bun. Cool, kind of like John Lennon sunglasses. You gotta have those too.
Yep.
And some people actually kind of acclaimed this one, and they did another couple of albums in the same style. They should have changed their name into something else. Even a boring album cover on that thing. It's so like 2000.
It looks like philosophy is the word. Philosophy, or is that the Norwegian word for philosophy?
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah.
Villasoph.
Or Villasoph.
The philosophy of sucking.
All right. We got that. Let's do this one.
All right.
This is the end boss of crossover albums, really. This thing is so good. Dealing with it. Love the bass tone, that Rickenbacker bass tone cutting through here. So much character. The songs are intense. They're short songs, so you're not really getting what was the Spike is the singer, right? Spike.
Yeah.
I never was a fan of his lyric. He's very rhymey, but the songs are short enough here where that isn't an issue. The follow-up, which I do not Ben just pooped out. The follow-up to this crossover, which a lot of people herald as another classic album. Man, I always hated that record. I hated it. They started introducing slower stuff. Songs like 5-Year Plan, the opening track to that, super rhymey lyrics. I mean, embarrassingly rhymey, and that was such a step down from this record. I mean, I ended up liking Four of a Kind a bit more, but after that, the debut, this Four of a Kind, I'm out with DRI. They put out albums like Thrash Zone and the thing with the ship on it. It's just so much stuff that's just so half-assed. I can't believe they've gotten the mileage after all these years. They're still doing it.
Yeah.
I quit
Excellent.
caring after the ones I just stated, but Crossover, I'd never liked that record. I thought it was a crappy record. I don't own it. If I found it used, I might pick it up to check in again, but I don't know. Bill, you're done. You're out.
I might have one more here. I was just thinking. Let me see. If you want to do another one, Marty, I think I was going to look this up here real quick. But
All right.
yeah,
While you're looking, we'll get Ben in again.
Yeah,
here.
give Ben another shot.
All right. You should do Bathory. This will be my last one.
You can do them both if you want. I got plenty of other shit. There's a couple really good songs on that album.
You know, the songwriting is really good, and this is some of Simon's best singing, but what an unlistenable crap ton of sound. This is one of the ones that I hate Abyss Studios most about. Ruined a great band. And then the lineup just kind of went separate ways, and they did that Epic, I think. I know Austin loves the second era of this band, but
I never did. I never did.
Even they've gotten back several singers.
My favorite's the first one. Dude. The first one is great.
Yeah, that's the one. And the Olden Domain, I don't mind.
Olden Domain,
that one's
sometimes I like Olden Domain.
Yeah,
but the Archaic Chorus, that one,
that's a great record.
My favorite.
That's a great record,
hands down.
Yeah,
Simon's vocals are great.
Norwegian black metal classics, that first one is untouchable.
Oh, it's untouchable. It's a true Norwegian black metal supergroup band. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Norway and Sweden were kind of the fact that some of the supergroups were just as good as the original band sometimes. It's kind of a weird deal.
Did you know about this, Marty?
I've seen it was released. I have not checked it out. Is it good?
Version? Nice.
Yeah, so there's a remastered version of it, which I don't really think it needed that much. But there's a bunch of rehearsals and alternative mix stuff on here.
Is it worth it?
Live recordings. What's that?
The extra stuff is usually kind of a tedious chore to listen to. Is it worth listening to, or?
Yeah, I mean, this album's amazing. But yeah, I would love to hear this one with a different guitar tone on it. I just hate how plasticky and tinny it all and digital it all sounds.
Right.
Boo.
All right, Bill, did you find what you were looking for?
I did. So this record, I've got, again, I grabbed it. I have it over there, but I'm not going to hunt for it right now because it just occurred to me. Bethlehem, Suicide.
I love that record.
Fucking amazing, right?
One of the most sad, the most depressing album ever made, maybe. Yeah.
Totally soul crushing. It just makes you just want to freaking. It's like you're staring into the void of your soul, and there's nothing there, and nothing will comfort you as you realize that existence is futile. Well, there's of course then the re-recording of it, not immediately. But
they did it with that dips shit.
Yeah, they re-recorded 11 years later, and this is what you get here. And they do the English version of it: a sacrificial offering to the kingdom of heaven in a cracked dog's ear. I believe it's with Kabarforth, I think.
From Shining,
from Shining.
It's bad.
And it is a fucking pile of shit. Oh my god, that guy!
Whoa.
Please just do yourself in. Please end yourself. Like, do the world a favor. Quit playing around with it and using it as like an art piece, using this performance art. We're all sick of your shit. Go fuck yourself. Yeah.
I didn't know this
doing much better now. They have the lady from Dark and Nocturne Slaughter Cult and their new stuff.
Which rules. She rules, man.
She rules. Dark and Nocturne Slaughter Cult, you haven't listened to them. They are great. And Bethlehem with her are also great. So they've returned to their former glory, I would say.
I just found them on YouTube, a live show. She's wearing like this white wedding dress with blood and like super long Crystal Gale hair and guitar up there. Just it's awesome black metal. I was really shocked how good it was. I ended up bought 3 records. I'm on the hunt for the other ones. Good shit.
Yeah, that's my last one. That just popped into my head. So,
all right, we're gonna go back to a record I loved a lot when it came out. Hallows Eve, Death and Insanity.
Yeah.
Every song's about death or dying. And at one point, James Murphy was in this band during the era where he was in every band for a while. He was in this band for a hot minute. Not on this record. I don't think. No. But this is kind of a weird US power / thrash combo band. Their debut is probably their best, but this one's a lot heavier, a lot chunkier, a lot faster. Good album. Then they come out with this thing. Monument, man. The first song, Speed Freak, it's just a stupid song. They're trying to be fast. The lyrics are stupid. Get me to the show on time. Think I'm about to lose my mind. Speed Freak. Speed Freak. Driving like a maniac.
Yeah.
Think I'll have a heart attack. Speed Freak. Speed Freak.
It's like the DRI sing-songy rhyme. Yeah.
Exactly. And I ended up liking some songs on this record, but when it first came out, I was pretty disappointed. It just does not hold up to the quality of and the funny thing is it's on Metal Blade, and that whole era when Fate's Warning, you've got the enchanted airbrushed space photos, and it looks like the back looks like a Face Warning, like the follow-up to Awaken the Guardian, doesn't it? Looks like the same artist.
It does.
You got the lady, like maybe the mom of one of the girls that was a Napalm model later on. I don't know, but
her aunt.
Yeah. Yep. It's definitely, the album grew on me, but it is a definite departure from the debut, the first two albums. So when we did this one, I thought this would be a good pick as well.
Yeah, that Hallows Eve, the first and second ones are really good.
Tales of Terror is a classic. Yep, yeah, absolutely. But
I don't even need to hear that. I know that's horrible.
What, Tales of Terror? Or
yeah,
Death in
whatever you just showed.
Oh, the Monument album? No, you wouldn't like it.
A monument to shit.
Ben, what you got?
I'm not very familiar with this because it's an absolute piece of trash. But after Twilight of the Gods, you know what happened? Bathory released Requiem.
Oh, Requiem, yeah.
This guy right here.
What is the story behind this pile of shit?
I'm gonna be thrash again. He thought he was thrash. He was coming in at the wrong time. I mean, when did this album come out?
It's like early 90s, right?
94?
94. I mean, thrash was kind of late. It was super late in the game at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was dead.
Not good.
Dead.
And there's some decent songs. I can listen to it now and be okay with it, but the drum machine and the production of it's terrible. But and it's fun. I mean, I love this record, but it isn't the best of the Viking era. I love it.
No.
His voice is the worst on this album, but
yeah.
Requiem is it's a very bipolar record. Yeah, exactly, Andre. Octagon is way worse. That album sucks.
That's what I thought for a minute. It was going to be Octagon because I'm like, oh god, douche chills on Octagon for sure. Bad.
So, Bill, you're out of bullets. I might as well. Ben, you're out of bullets.
Yeah, all my albums are good.
All right, I'll run through these last few in a hurry. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3 more. So, Bill showed some Priest earlier. I went this route. Defenders of the Faith, classic. Got Free Will Burning, The Sentinel, Love Bites, Defenders. I mean, this is a great record, classic record. They followed it up with this Turbo. The Candy Cane Handjob album. And to be honest, this was the only Priest I owned back in the day, and I still have a bit of a nostalgic love for this record. Out in the Cold, what a great song. Turbo's a good song. Locked In, Private Property. I mean, there's some hits on here. They have videos on MTV for this. I like this record, but it is definitely a departure for Judas Priest. Maiden did guitar synth, so Judas Priest had to do it too. And Maiden integrated the guitar synth a little more clever and artsy with their album. On here, it's just a little cheesy. They kind of went the cheesy commercial route with it on this, but still, I like the record. I get people don't. That
party record. It really is kind of just fun, kind of like, oh yeah, like, Turbo Lover, all that stuff. It's fun.
It's fun.
But, yeah, but that's mostly it.
If you're going to investigate Bathory in the 90s, you need to get Blood on Ice. It is the best.
Yes.
It's like my favorite Bathory record. It is the
Same.
best Viking album. It is a classic. Songs like The Lake, The Wood Woman, two of the best songs he ever wrote. Absolutely amazing album. Love it. Love it. Love it. Best Viking. And his return too with the Nordland albums. Those albums are both amazing. Great, great, great. He ended on two great, strong albums.
Yeah. Way to end his career.
Yep.
Chef's
a Kiss.
Yeah.
Oops.
Hey Marty, did Austin cover Ring of Gold when he played that acoustic set in Portland or out west a couple weeks ago?
I know he's played it, but I don't know if he played it out west. I have no idea. Is it online?
All right. He made some reference to Bathory or something, and he was like, something I'm going to be playing. And I know he did that cover for Jack and Joelle's wedding.
Yeah. Okay. Next one, Megadeth again. Peace sells, but who's buying? Of the first two, this is my second favorite. I love the debut. I love the raw. I love Angry Dave trying to get back at his band, playing things fast. The thing that makes me love Killing Is My Business is Gar's drum performance on that record and the drum production. The drums, in spite of that album sounding weird, the drums are really punchy and organic, and he was a beast of a drummer. He just rips on that record. This album, they covered it completely in reverb. I mean, it's all reverbed out. I still love this. This is still a good record. This what came out after it. So far, so good. So what? I hate this record. And this thing blew. I remember this thing blowing up, man. It was huge when it came out. Couple good songs I do like. In My Darkest Hour. U.S. bands covering Sex Pistols, Anarchy in the UK. Anthrax covered God Save the Queen. I mean, what are you doing? It's stupid. It's like Mexican radio at the beginning of your freaking album. It's stupid decisions. But this sounds like a drugged out Megadeth. And it just amazes me that this is the gap between this and the greatness that was Rust in Peace, because Rust in Peace sounds like a completely 180-degree turn from this record to me. Anyway, I hated the production of this. I don't like the songs. Some couple here and there are okay. Blah, blah, record.
Yeah.
My last pair. We're going this route. US Hardcore, Suicidal Tendencies. Man, I love this record. This is a great, unique hardcore record. Very East Coast sounding, very Venice Beach sounding. These guys had their own sound. These songs rip. There's a little bit of humor here and there, but it's mostly just really well done songs. Mike Muir's vocals are great. Everything is good on this record. Join the Army. Is this crap? It isn't pure crap, but it's a sign of what's to come. It's a transitional record where they start to get a little bit more metalized. Possessed to Skate's fun. There's a fun video for that when this came out. But what came after it, Suicidal Tendencies going thrash, I wasn't down with it because this album is so good. It's such good hardcore. I just could not go where Suicidal went. And the Mike singing paired with more of a crunchy thrash metal tone, it just sounded silly to me. He fit so much better in the hardcore realm. But
have you ever heard the No Mercy record? You ever heard that? No Mercy?
I have not. I know Eric Bauer has shown it a couple times. Never heard it.
That record is like, that's kind of like the logical progression of the self-titled, like, and it's Mike, and it's I think Mike Clark, who was also one of the guitarists in Suicidal. It's great, like ripping, like crossover stuff. Yeah, I would recommend it. And really cool artwork as well. Yeah, definitely check that out.
I don't really ever listen to Suicidal Tendencies, but that No Mercy album shreds.
Yeah.
You should listen to the first one. The first Suicidal record is really good. It's a solid record. Always liked it.
I should do that.
But yeah, anyway, we did it. 2 hours, 28 minutes. Not too bad.
Lean and mean, baby.
Bill, it was great to have you, man. It's good. Hope people go and check out your channel. The link is in the description. Please go check out his band Uncross. I will add the Bandcamp link in the description as well after this is over with. And Ben, thank you for being my co-host for the evening. I'm sorry we kept you. I am sick as well. I have been feeling like crap all week. Cold, cough. Thankfully, it's not COVID. I didn't lose my taste or smell or have fever. So it was fun. We had a good time.
It was a very good time. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. And thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching.
Hell yeah. Good time as always. You will see Bill again. We'll get him back, of course. We like to keep people in the loop. We're a weekly show, as all of you know, most of you know, and we try to bring you new, fun, and exciting guests all the time. And that's it. Go check out these gentlemen's channels and Ben's Patreon and all that fun stuff. Don't hang up, Bill. Don't hang up, Ben. We're going to talk for a minute. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. Had a great time, as always. And everybody that contributed in the super chat, you rule. You're too kind. We will see you next week. Cheers.
Bye-bye.